Ian, we're live. We're live.
Hello.
Hello, you lovely people, and thank you all for joining us this Friday night. I hope you're all stocked up on drinks because you're probably going to need them. I'm joined as usual by my much older brother, Gary. How are you today, Gary? You all right?
I'm fine. I'm good. Sat here in the shed, freezing.
Freezing? Oh, you didn't prep it.
I didn't put the heater on.
Schoolboy era.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, we've got our little wounded soldier, Virgil of the Pasties. How are you, mate? You all good?
Yeah, I'm struggling. I've, as you know, I've had quite a sensitive operation this week,
yes.
I'm really struggling to function. But I'm doing all right. Don't worry. I've got my old can of Carling.
Good.
Getting sponsored by these soon, I reckon, if I carry on drinking them.
I find it mixes really well with strong painkillers as well when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And last but definitely not least, we're joined finally by Twitter, and we've just found out TikTok sensation Irish Tommy. I've only been bugging him for about 3 months to come on, and I've finally broken him down. How are you, Tommy? You all right?
He's on mute.
You're on mute, mate.
You're on mute, Tommy.
Yeah, unmute myself would help. I'll make a lot more sense when the mute button's on.
Yeah.
And a lot less controversial. So I've been good. Sorry it took so long to get on. It's usually just been timing. I'm free this evening, thank God. I was delighted to finally get on the show.
I'm persistent, mate. I won't leave you alone. It's nice.
It's
great to have you on. It's great to have you on.
No, you don't ask, you don't get. You should be persistent.
Exactly. Okay, well, I'll run through the agenda for this evening. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to start with that shitter of a game from Wednesday night. So we'll be discussing the highlights or the lowlights, if you want to call them that, and then we'll get onto the player ratings as quickly as we possibly can, so that we can show our full appreciation to those bastards for ruining what was otherwise a fantastic day out for us, wasn't it?
It was.
We should have stayed in the bloody pub. And like I say, once we're done distributing donkeys, of which there will be plenty, we'll move swiftly on to the Claret and Booze news, where, as per usual, Gary is going to have 3 news stories for us all to debate and discuss. And then Virgil will do his best to pick the mood up with a bit of light-hearted banter by mocking the footballing week before crowning our cock of the week. And once John's picked everyone up, I'm going to swiftly bring everyone down again by reviewing what feels like a nailed-on battering away at Liverpool. We won't spend much time dissecting Klopp's heavy metal football tactics or selections. I mean, what's the fucking point? We'll probably spend more time talking about how West Ham can ruin their title charge and our lineup selector.
Yeah.
And once that's done, we'll move on to the Premier League predictor, or as I've labelled it now, the slip and slide, to see how many places we can potentially drop this weekend. But all jokes aside, we'll do our best to make light of a pretty shitty week and get you all in the mood for Liverpool tomorrow. So that's the agenda done. Let's get on with the show. So we've got obviously Southampton, and we've got to touch on first, unfortunately. So I've got a little video that we've made, and we'll go into the review following that. Oh, memories. Bloody hell. Okay, well, look, we all went to the game. Little picture here from the Brewdog. We got down there and started drinking at about 3. And, we met some great people, didn't we, down there? It was really good. It was really good sort of catching up to people. I saw some people at the game as well. We sort of bumped into Stel and Nigel and Baz Cox, if you're watching. I am sorry. I did call you Marshy by accident. I'd had a few points by that point. I do know who you are. I just got it wrong. I got mixed up. But then, the football had to go and ruin the day, didn't it? We all watched on in disbelief at at West Ham being knocked out of the FA Cup against Southampton's bloody B team. Heartbreaking, to be honest. It's probably it weren't so much a day because we had such a good day. I was tired, but the next day I woke up and I felt okay. But then as the day wore on, that's probably as low as I felt this season. It's kind of it weren't good. It weren't good. But we'll discuss individual performances in the player rating section. So we'll get on with the actual game now. So Tommy, what were you expecting when you saw the starting lineups?
A win. I was actually quite surprised that Hasselhouten, whatever his name is.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah, David Hasselhoff made 9 changes for the game, which surprised me. I expected maybe some. I expected some from us too, but I didn't think 9. So when I saw how strong a team we had out and how many changes they had made, I honest to God, I felt very confident. I thought, yeah, we really should win this game. So I was really confident when I saw the lineups. I was very happy, actually.
Yeah, I know. I felt the same. How about you, Gary?
Yeah, no. I felt the same, and I thought, to be fair,
he went strong. He went strong, Moyes, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, early on in the game, we were quite dominant, right? We opened up. We were strong. We were getting at them. We missed some half chances that perhaps we should have done better with.
Yeah.
One from Bowen, one from Souček, I think. And then it just kind of fizzled out a little bit, and after that goal, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sucker punch. Sucker punch opener for them, and
Yeah,
that's right. I think you felt the same, John, didn't you? I think when we all saw that lineup, and it was mainly them. It was just the amount of changes they made. You thought, oh look, this is.
Yeah, I mean, there's arguments for the sake of the fact that we ain't really got a B team because we haven't got a squad. So you could argue that he's got not many changes he can make. And if you look at the bench, it was predominantly full of kids, right? No Noble. There was a couple on there, Ben Rama, Vlasic, but I didn't really expect them to be needed to come on because I did look at the lineups, and like Tommy and like you have said, I did go into the game fairly confident. And to be honest with you, their goal, which, let's be honest, it was, people have said Areola should have done better. I'm not so sure personally.
Yeah.
I think it was a fantastic goal. It was a weldy. It was out of nothing. They gave him space. They didn't think he's going to smack. That's his first ever goal in Premier League in English football. So he hasn't got a reputation. They don't know him. He's just wellied it. It's gone in. Fantastic goal. And it was definitely against the run of play.
It was. I mean,
I thought. Sorry, man.
No, go on, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I thought we could have made some changes. I was surprised at how strong he went. Now, I don't think we could have done a Southampton and made 9 changes. Because we just don't have the squad for that. But certainly, I didn't particularly like the change of formation. Diop playing completely out of position, even though I thought he played decent, I thought was avoidable. I would have stuck with our usual formation. I would have happily had Johnson at left back and bring Nathan Ashby in at right back. I mean, whenever I've seen Nathan Ashby in the Cups, he's looked like a really good player. Now, forgive me. Maybe I'll mention a couple of players that weren't available for some reason. I assume Ashby was.
No, he's injured.
Is he injured?
He's another one that's injured. Yeah.
But right back, we've got some options. So we could have gone a flat back 4. You could have rested Zuma.
I agree with you. I think there was too many square pegs in round holes for that formation, wasn't there?
Yeah. So a flat back 4. With Diop and Dawson who've played together plenty. Johnson left back would have been absolutely fine. I think, and we've got some good youngsters too. And we've also, we've got Vlasic and Benrahma who don't feature.
No.
Starters so much in the Premier League or in Europa League. Stages, who could have been used from the beginning, I thought. And, why not give Vocal Flex a chance up front?
No, I agree. I was surprised. I was surprised that Antonio got another game a couple of days after the last game.
Well, look, I think we all agreed, Gary, didn't we? We said when you looked at the way they used Brozier, Antonio would have been much better used off the bench in the last 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I think changes were there to be made.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at, Tom, is more the fact that we've had this debate over recent weeks and probably months about would you rather have the cup or finish 4th. To me, as a West Ham fan, lifting a trophy at this stage is more important than finishing 4th. To me, as a fan, and I know a lot of fans agree. a lot don't. So I was happy with the strength of the lineup in terms of, I thought this is brilliant. Moyes is going for it. But obviously we didn't know the formation change before we got in the ground. And that was when the issues, especially after they scored the fantastic opener, we couldn't really get back into the game because I felt that, like Nick said, round peg, square hole situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because when I saw, the backs, you see Dawson, Zuma, and Diop. Normally, you're thinking, oh, they're the back three, but clearly they weren't, because that meant that because then you're looking, going, is Fornals playing left wing back then, or what the hell is going on? So
he was,
he
was playing left wing back. He was playing left wing back.
So when I saw the formation, I was thinking, okay, this is strange. I'm not sure why exactly he did it. Given the personnel we had, I didn't think it was necessary to go with wing backs unless he felt tactically it was the right thing to do.
I think what it was, I think he changed it against Wolves, but the difference is against Wolves we had Cresswell, which makes a massive difference in the back three. And he's obviously gone with it again. But Wolves play a different style of football. If you play, Wolves don't press. Wolves are happy. They're a little bit like us. They're happy to sort of let you have the ball, and then they'll hit you on a counter. They don't concede many goals, they don't score many, but they're very efficient. Yeah. But when you're playing against a team that press, when you play that formation, we was pegged back for. Look, we did create a few chances. I'll run through what happened anyway. Look, we did start very well. Southampton was sitting off us now, and they were allowing us possession. And we were playing some good football, weren't we? As we just said, but we created some chances early on, but we were so toothless up front. And then on 31 minutes, as John said, against a run of play, that Perrault, whatever his name is, he picked up the ball on the left-hand side. A lack of closing down, if you watch it again from Soucek, it gave him the opportunity to unleash that fucking amazing strike from 25 yards out. Yeah. It was good, but it weren't in the top corner, but it was probably because Areola, it was poor positioning. He literally, if you have a look at that guy's line of sight, he had 2/3 of the goal to aim at. So Areola, he gave himself absolutely no chance. I mean,
with Areola, because we were right up the top of the stadium looking down, he was clearly quite a way off his line. Yeah, that was my criticism of Areola. His position was wrong. Yeah, that was my criticism of Areola, because it seemed to go over him, and it was, like you said, halfway up the goal. So I don't quite know. I know it swerved, but those modern balls do swerve, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
It's to be expected. But yeah, it was, and I think all in all, for that first half, we didn't deserve to be behind. If anything, we deserved to be in front on that first half.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a bit of a kicker to be 1-0 down at the break. I mean, if we'd been 2-0 up going down the tunnel, that would have been absolutely justified.
I agree.
Yeah, no, we did. We scraped through. We scraped through the last 15 minutes. I think that goal definitely sort of swung momentum their way. And I think for that last 15 minutes, we were kind of hanging on. I remember at 43 minutes, Declan Rice, who was clearly sort of told to sit deep, he lost he didn't lose his rag, but a couple of times he won the ball back and he gave the ball to someone else. 10 seconds later, he's coming back at him, and then on 43 minutes, he just picked the ball up and just ran himself. Yeah, he just took the ball up the field himself. So that was kind of it was.
The only thing I'd say, Nick, is I disagree somewhat, because I don't think they ever really got on top massively.
In the last 15 minutes, they did after they scored.
But Nick, you say that. What did Areola have to do? Areola made one other save apart from the 3 goals.
Yeah,
most of the game was in the midfield, right? And if you look at the possession stats over the whole game, I know you're talking about the last 15, but over the whole game, the possession stats were pretty 50-50, I believe, right? And what they did was, I think they just hounded. I mean, every time Declan Rice got the ball, he was having 2 or 3 of them snapping at him. They was giving Rice no space. And to be honest with you, if you can nullify Rice, you're pretty much nullifying.
Do you know what they were doing? They were so cute, right? They identified threats in our team. So, i.e., you just said there, when Rice was on the ball, he had 3 players on him. However, Soucek, not so much. Johnson was a shining. They was almost taking the piss with Johnson. They was leaving him wide open on that side and basically saying, give the ball to him, because I think they were so confident that they could deal with his attacking threat, and they kept on leaving him wide open in space. It was so obvious what they was doing.
And that seemed to be, as the game wore on, that was kind of our only tactic, was to pass the ball out wide to Johnson, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So anyway, Tommy, half time. What were your thoughts at half time?
I was gutted. I couldn't believe we were losing. You know, we've been the better team. Like you say, I mean, we started exactly as I expected us to. Dominant. I mean, we had a much better team out than them, and I actually early on I thought, you know what, we're going to cruise this. We're going to cruise this. I felt really comfortable, and then like you say, what his name is, Perot hits a fucking worldie, and it's a sickener. And you at half time you're thinking, Christ, how are we losing this game? So yeah, obviously very disappointed with the scoreline, but I was still actually quite confident. I thought, you know, I've seen enough from us first half that I think we can turn this around. So at half time, while I was really disappointed and I thought we're kind of being robbed here a little bit, I certainly wasn't panicking. I felt like we still had a second half to come, and I felt like we had enough about us in that game that I really felt we were going to come out second half, score a couple of goals. I really did. So disappointed, you know, and felt we were really unlucky to be behind. But like I say, I wasn't panicked or anything.
No. What about yourself, Gal?
Well, at half time, the consensus of the people around the burger stand downstairs was exactly what Tommy just said. It was, how the hell are we losing this game? We should be winning this game. And so we were feeling a little bit mugged, and at the same time, optimistic and upbeat about the second half, because we thought we'd come out and do the same again and we'd get some joy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's I completely agree with that. I mean, I was a bit. I think we played well. I agree with that. I think we were white, but we were so wasteful. I didn't feel like we was going to score in that first half. You know, the attacking third, I think we did really well defensively. When I say through the midfield, not so much midfield, because I thought Soucek was anonymous. He was awful. I thought Lanzini and Fornals particularly were very good in kind of building play and creating play in that first half. And they were getting the ball forward. They were creating quite a lot from deep, but I thought Bowen and Antonio were. We'll talk about them more in depth, but they didn't have the best games, did they? Today, no. The pair of them. So the start of the second half, John, up until what should we go up to? Up until we scored. What were your thoughts at that? You know,
I thought it was pretty much the same. I mean, you know, obviously Johnson was attacking the away fans, so we were seeing him with a lot of possession. He was in acres of space. We know it's not his strength. We know it's not his forte. He's a better defender than an attacker. We know that, all right? Yeah. But I couldn't believe the amount of opportunities that he was getting. And I sort of thought to myself, you know, we've got to create something out of this opportunity that he's getting, the space that he's getting. Obviously, as we know, then the change had to happen when Soucek took a nasty blow to the face. And I've got to give the Southampton keeper credit, because he was the one that stopped play, because the referee had no idea what had gone on, and he was just allowing the game to go on. There was blood streaming down his face. And is it Caballero?
It wasn't intentional, was it? I don't think it was intentional.
No. I'm not saying it's intentional, but the guy's got blood streaming down his face, right?
Yeah.
But I was still very, very confident. I was still so confident because, let's be honest, Areola didn't have anything to do. I'm not saying we tested their keeper, but I wasn't looking at it and thinking, you know, I wasn't looking at it and thinking we're hanging on either. It was pretty much fairly even to some extent, but we seemed to have more of the ball, but was probably more wasteful. We were getting in better opportunities, and the first cross was hitting the first defender, or it wasn't going at the right time, or whatever it may be. And it's probably just a shame that a lot of the ball was going to Johnson, because maybe somebody else could have, you know, got some better delivery in the box.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously we pulled it back level, didn't we? You know, we got obviously a Bowen corner. Diop won the header, and then it was finished by Antonio. And then from that point onwards, up until the next incident that we'll talk about, I think that we were really in control then. And then it felt to me, that was the first time I did feel confident. I thought we looked like we was going to go on and get the second goal. Yeah. At that point, you know, our tails looked like they were up. But then, you know, we got ghosted by VAR, didn't we, on 68 minutes? You know, Dawson was struggling with Brozier. He was, you know, there was a bit of tugging from both players in that lead up to Dawson making. I mean, I've got to be honest. At first glance, I thought it was a brilliant challenge.
Yeah,
but VAR flagged it. The ref got summoned over, and then you know what that means. You know that as soon as that happens, you know it's going to be a penalty. Tommy, what were your thoughts on that incident? Sort of having watched it back.
I don't have too many complaints, to be honest. it wasn't Stonewall by any means.
No.
The thing I was trying to figure out from the replays, because like you, when I first saw it, I thought, "Fucking hell, Dawson, that's a brilliant
It was a good
challenge."
penalty, yeah, a good tackle. Sorry.
Yeah, but then you see the replays, and he slid in, player side, ball is on the other side. Didn't really get the ball until after Broja went down, but I couldn't tell really properly from any angles like how much actual contact was there on Broja.
Well,
it looked like it was quite minimal.
It wasn't much.
It didn't look like much contact.
No, but that's the thing with VAR. If you slow anything down, it looks far worse. That's my opinion.
So
Broja was clever, wasn't he, as well? Broja was very clever.
Yeah, I think Broja felt some kind of touch and just thought, right, that'll do me, and went down. I think there was minimal contact. I think it was a soft enough penalty. But here's my VAR thing. I've said it before. I've been on other shows talking about this. I've tweeted about it. And the Premier League got to do something about this because I think it's a psychological thing. So whenever a referee makes a decision and then VAR get involved, and they tell a referee to go to the monitor, you can pretty much guarantee he will reverse whatever decision he's made on the pitch. And I cannot remember the last time a ref went to a monitor and stuck with his decision.
100%.
It gets changed every time. And here's what I think is happening. And I think refs, all these officials need training on this because it's psychology to me. What happens, I think, in a ref's head is if VAR comes back to the ref, he's made a decision on the field. If the VAR room comes back to him and says, we think maybe you need to take another look at that on the monitor. Immediately, let's take this specific example from our game against Southampton. Dawson's made the challenge. Broja's gone down. Ref's played on. Then VAR are in his ear saying, we think you might want to take another look at that on the monitor. Immediately, the ref's thinking, they think it's a pen.
Yeah, exactly.
My colleagues, these are other referees in Stockley Park, 3 of them. He's thinking, my colleagues, these 3 other referees in Stockley Park, think that's a penalty.
Yeah.
Who are all, by the way, all of those refs at Stockley Park, they're all his mates, they're other referees, right?
Exactly. So these are people that, he wants their respect. He wants them to think he's a good ref, right? As you do. You want your colleagues to think you're competent and you're good at your job. So
and the brothers.
When exactly. It's human nature, right? So he gets it in the ear, go look at the monitor. So he already thinks they think this is a pen.
Yeah, but
so in his head, he looks at the monitor and he thinks, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to give it because I know they think it's a pen. And what are they going to think of me if I say, no, I've looked at it and I disagree with you. I don't think it is a pen. I think that's why they always change their minds when they go to the monitor. And they need to be trained out of that.
He was looking at that. The referee was looking at that screen for bloody ages. And then as he's pulling away, he's still looking at it.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure. Yeah. And you sort of think
I'll tell you why.
If
because
you have to look at something so closely, then don't give it, right? Because it's not, you're actually trying to find the offence. You're studying it in slow motion to try and find the offence in minute detail. Whereas if they had reeled it back, they'd have realised that Broja had his shirt earlier in the move, right?
I think I think it doesn't matter what they see. Yeah. I think when they're going over to the monitor, they already know that their colleagues, 3 of them, who've been watching replays in Stockley Park, think it's a pen.
But I suppose, Tommy, in that sense, I suppose if they're all trained referees and they all go to they all play by the same rules, they would probably trust somebody that's looking at video replays to give them good advice. So in that sense, I could understand them putting trust in the guys in Stockley Park because. So I can understand.
That's what I'm saying. I understand the psychology of it, but they have to be. But they have got to be trained out of it. They've got to be trained to say, listen, just because the guys in Stockley Park think you should take another look at it 100%. Does not mean you have to change your mind. Listen, hands up if you knew.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me just say,
I knew he knew what was coming as soon as he went over. Yeah.
You say everyone does. Everyone does.
Everyone watching that, however many millions were watching that game worldwide, every single person knew there's a pen coming.
As soon as he goes over.
Soon as the ref goes to the monitor,
No,
the decision's getting reversed.
The key is this. The key is this from Paul Evans in the chat. Clear and obvious. It wasn't clear and obvious, was it?
No, it wasn't a clear and obvious error, but it doesn't matter because once they get called to the monitor, they will change their minds.
Yeah.
But the problem is, Gal, like you said, Gal, they look for that very minute window of opportunity to suggest it was clear and obvious, and they rewind it and they slow it down and they go backwards and forwards. Don't get me wrong; people are going to say, "Oh, yeah, but you would say this because."
Do you not believe that?
I've said it as a neutral watching other games, and that's the truth.
But you know, I don't think they should be allowed to watch. I know it sounds stupid. I don't think they should be allowed to watch it in slow motion. They should watch it in real time. Yes. When they review something back, they should be made to watch it in real time because whatever you slow down, it's gonna make everything look worse. If they're gonna review something, fine, but review it in real time because that's how things happen. You know, people don't make tackles in slow motion. You
did.
Yeah, I know I did, but they don't. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, you know. So anyway, that was that. That was that. Ward-Prowse obviously scores. You know, he played it down the middle with Areola sort of flying to his right.
Yeah.
2-1 Saints. 2-1 Saints after 61 minutes.
That was the point where I did start to panic a bit.
We've
all seen games like that before where it's just one of those days. And I think that's when I tweeted, like, okay, Southampton are going to shit out the win here.
Yeah, my heart sank at that point. And it did feel at that point, because I think that took the wind out of ourselves. It felt like they was going for the third. And then Moyes makes one of the strangest fucking decisions I've seen so far from him on 76 minutes. He takes off one central midfielder impersonating a left wing back for another central midfielder to come on and do the same fucking thing as if that's going to help us. The shape didn't appear to change. It was just like a like for like. It was so weird. I mean, John, what were your thoughts? Honestly, what were your thoughts on that sub?
You know, I'm a big fan of Moyes, and most of us are. Let's be honest. And people have questioned subs and decisions and all that.
Yeah, but that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, look, you know, we've discussed it since the game, and we discussed it on the way home on that dreadful journey on the way home. The thing that Moyes is doing is he's tightening the noose around his own neck because you know, no manager is going to please all fans. That's never going to happen, right? Generally, right? Especially at West Ham. That's fine. That's understandable. But the problem is he's not trying anything different. You know, he's not, you know, change up your system a little bit. If it's not working, bite the bullet and change it up a little bit. You could say he hasn't got the people on the bench to change it up and that, but he's got to try something different once in a while because it's just becoming quite infuriating. And
it really is.
Let's be honest. We were happy with the performance against Wolves because whatever you want to say about the way Wolves play, we were on the front foot more and we changed it up slightly from the game before, the game previous. But this was like going backwards again. I thought, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point because when it went 2-1, I thought, okay, you know, we're banging trouble now, and we've got to do something. We've got to be more positive now in getting forward and getting numbers forward. At that point, I would have switched formation. I would have gone
100%. Definitely. Yeah, we were still playing with three at the back, chasing the game. 2-1. 2-1 down.
Ridiculous.
Three at the back.
And like you said, too many square pegs and round holes still.
Yeah.
And it was clear this wasn't working. So I would have switched to 4-1-4-1. You know, Rice can manage on his own as a single midfielder. Go back to a flat back four. Go 4-1-4-1. If you've got, say, Benrahma left wing, you know, in front of Rice, you've got, say, Benrahma left wing, and then in the centre, you've got, say, Fornals and Lanzini with Bowen on the right and Antonio up top, and you get more support up front. There's nothing wrong with 4-1-4-1. It's a perfectly good formation. It's a solid formation going forwards and defensively. I think
Benrahma left back in the changing room would suit me more, though, to be honest.
It's not Moyes'.
Yeah, well, look, we had to try something, but and we've got limited options, you know, in the attacking
midfield. It's not Moyes' style. It's not Moyes' style to change formation during a game.
You know, if you had, you know, Benrahma, Vlasic, Lanzini, Bowen, you know, whichever four you want to use, you can. If you don't like Benrahma, bring Vlasic on the left.
I agree with you. I would have just liked to have seen a more positive, more than just a light for light change. Because sometimes in a game, if it isn't working, it's not. It's like Moyes refuses to accept. Well, it can't be my plan. It can't be my system that's not working. It must be the personnel. So he just takes off, he sticks with the same system, and he just makes a like-for-like change, as if that's going to fucking massively change anything. You know, that isn't it. I think he has got to be more tactically dynamic in these games, I think.
Yeah, especially he had 5 subs. He used 2.
I know. Well, you know, he used that as an excuse, Tommy. Like he was what was it he said, Gary?
He said they only won because they used 5 subs. Like as if they had.
Is he trolling us or what?
I think he's trolling us. But Moyes, listen, we all know the way Moyes works, right? He chooses a formation and he will stick to it. He'll never change it in the middle of a game. In fact, he'll only change it when we lose a few games in succession and things are starting to go tits up. Then he'll come up with a new formation that he will use until that one goes wrong.
And why are managers these days allergic to 4-4-2? What's wrong with him?
Because Man City do, everyone else does.
I think what it is, Tommy, when you go up against a team that have got 3 in midfield, you have to match them up.
No, I'm not so sure. I think 4-4-2 can be very effective as well. Like I think I wouldn't have minded going 2 up top. Why not? You're chasing the game. I would have personally gone 4-1-4-1, but even if Moyes had done that and gone 4-4-2 and got, let's get off Okaflex on, or get Vlasic on up front with whatever he wanted to do, alongside Antonio,
in the end,
the 2 centre forwards, give him something to think about at least.
I know
they do something.
Well, look, there weren't much else that happened apart from in the 92nd minute. I don't know if you remember it. We had another corner. Dawson, great header from a corner, and there was a brilliant save from their keeper.
It was,
and then it felt like it was straight down the other end, but it probably weren't. Probably a few minutes later, Brozier, he killed the game dead. Really good finish. I mean, he's a bastard, that player, but I'd like him to be our bastard. I've got to be honest. I really like him. I want him.
That goal doesn't count, does it? That goal doesn't count. I mean, we were chasing the game down the other end.
Yeah.
It was still. I'll tell you what, though. The one thing that struck me when Brozier scored that 3rd goal was that's what you get when you've got a proper number 9. That's the kind of goal that a proper number 9 can score for you.
Exactly.
And I just remember thinking, how do we still not have one? I said, because Antonio isn't doing that. Antonio does not score that goal. No. He's just not a natural number 9. He doesn't have that instinct. And I thought that is exactly our fucking problem, that Brozier goal. Because if we have a proper number 9 with a goal scorer's instinct like Brozier showed for that 3rd goal.
Do you know Antonio's done it once from memory, where he's literally almost taken the ball, he's received it perfectly, and he's gone on and he's finished it. And that was against Leeds. You remember that goal against Leeds? Away from that was he opened his body up, great finish. Yeah. He's done it. He doesn't do it very often because he isn't a striker. I think with Antonio,
you can see if you compare directly Brozier and Antonio, and someone says to you, which one's a natural? Which one of them is a natural number 9?
But I think what we have to be careful to do is not blame Antonio for this, because it's not easy.
No, I'm not blaming him for the defeat. Yeah. I'm just saying.
No. What I mean is he isn't a striker. He's still not. He's actually came out. If you watch before the Wolves game, he came out and he said he done a pre-match interview, and he said, when I was at my peak at the start of the season, he said I was playing my natural game. He said, which was playing wide to the flanks. He said I was attacking the channels. He said because that's where I'm comfortable. He said, and then what happened was I was listening to people on the outside, and they was telling me, you're a striker, you've got to be more central. And he said I was trying to concentrate my game more in the 18-yard box. Yeah. And he said that isn't. He said I can't. Basically, what he was saying was I can't do it. It kills my game. So he's almost admitted there that he's not a centre forward. He can't play that role. He's an inside forward like Bowen. Bowen's an inside forward. He's not a centre forward. A centre forward, it's a tough job. It's a tough gig.
It's a specialist position, and you need to be a specialist at it, and we don't have one.
No. So anyway, look, let's wrap this game up, and then we're going to get into the player rating. So Tommy, summarise your feelings on the game overall.
Sickened, to be honest. I was really sickened. I turned it off immediately when Brozier made it 3-1.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was in injury time anyway, but I just immediately turned the TV off and fucked off to bed. I was like, no, I've seen it. I've had enough.
Just be thankful you didn't have a load of fucking Southampton fans screaming in your ear hole, because that's literally where I was. I was right on the edge.
Yeah, that was my one saving grace. Yeah. But
so frustrating.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe we've done it again in the fucking cup.
I know.
It's
It just feels like we went out with a whimper, doesn't it? Especially because and Wolves did it as well. And we beat Wolves, but Wolves made a load of fucking changes. Southampton have just done it, and it's almost I feel like it's starting to. It's a bit insulting, to be honest, that they're doing it against us, because make no mistake about that, Tommy. Southampton are not getting relegated. They're not getting in the top 6. It is all on the FA Cup for them. So this FA Cup was everything. So this was a tactic. It was a tactic because they know that we've only got 11 players, and essentially, same as Wolves, they go, right, we'll put our big guns on the bench. We'll let West Ham run themselves into the ground. They're already going to be tired. And then what we'll do is we'll start introducing our other players, and we'll just contain them for 30 minutes. So that was a game plan. And we're going to see that. We're going to see it time and time again for the rest of the season. Yeah. It's a piss take. It is. Go on, Gary. I mean, what about? Sort of a bit of a different question. Do you think that Moyes should have changed shape at least when we went 2-1 down?
Yeah, of course he should. He should have gone after the game. I mean, me and Ross were standing there talking to each other, and we said, "Why doesn't he put Dawson up front?"
Absolutely.
Change it around. You've got a spare centre half there. Throw him up front. Dawson's good in the air, isn't he? I mean, do anything, but try something different, because what we had on there wasn't working. Vlasic playing as a fucking wing back. Ben Rama doing God knows what Ben Rama was doing in the middle there, but he weren't doing very much other than giving the ball away and shooting high over the bar and not looking like he gives a toss. Really, really choked about that, because I genuinely thought that was our chance, that FA Cup. And it's gone. Just like the League Cup, it's gone with a whimper.
Yeah.
And you turned the telly off when that goal went in. We left the ground when that goal went in. I did anyway.
They fucking wouldn't let me out, and then I had to follow that. And now I follow Mike Brennan back to the Brewdog, and I got lost, didn't I?
Oh, he took enough didn't he?
Back to the Brewdog, yeah. But John, you probably got a little bit of a different. I mean, obviously you're disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you've got a bit of a different take on it, ain't you?
Of course I have, because I was there with my son. He's 10 years of age, so
yeah.
Win, lose or draw, he was just ecstatic to be at the away game. We had a great position behind the goal, so he was happy, even though we lost in a funny sort of way. He was disappointed, but he enjoyed the day. But I'll be honest with you, I came out of that game, and I still now think, how on earth did we lose 3-1? I genuinely, I don't think they deserve I don't think the scoreline. No. I don't think they deserve. I think the scoreline flattered them. I truly do. They had the worldie, the penalty.
It won a 3-1 game. It won a 3-1 game.
But apart from that, Areola had one save to make the whole game. I know we didn't test their keeper a lot. I'm not saying we did. But 3-1 slightly flattered them. However, like you say, when they're bringing on Orilu, and they're bringing on Redmond, and they're bringing on Brozier deep into the game, who are pretty much
Livramento as well.
Yeah, they're bringing on Premier League experienced players.
Yeah. I mean, look, hang on a minute. Let me put this back up. Look at the benches.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that really bugged me, Nick. That's the one thing that really bugged me about that game the other night when we were watching it, is the sheer volume of quality. They already had a decent team on the pitch.
Walcott,
and the volume of quality come on.
Romanian, Armstrong. What the fuck?
Exactly. Player after player they brought on. They've got strength in depth, and we have nothing like that.
Yeah. And I will say this, John. Raise a glass to Freddie, because I tell you what, I've never known a kid. He was so patient. I mean, we was out it was a long day, and he's a young boy, and he don't, when you get the kids like, well, my boy, for instance, Dad, are we going yet? What's going on? We've been here half hour. He literally don't say a word. He was brilliant. He just earwigs in the conversations.
Yeah,
he does. He earwigs in the conversations. Yeah, he's nosy.
He was good, and that drive. It wasn't a very long drive, but as a kid, that's a really long drive.
It was a long drive home. It was a long drive home.
Yeah, it was a long drive home. Yeah.
Right. So look, I'm going to set up the player ratings thing. Do you want to go through the comments? Just spend a little bit of time on that.
Yes. So I think you were spotted by a few people, Nick. Seemed like Nigel said it was funny sitting in traffic.
Did you give me a load of abuse out the window?
Yeah. Well, that's what you deserve. Going the wrong way. Kevin says Moyes doesn't like flair players. Yeah, and this is something that we've all said, right? Alan, I agree with Alan. We might have strength in depth if we blood our youngsters, And to me, it's infuriating.
Yeah,
Occo Flex
yeah,
has been on
I
the bench
agree.
about a dozen times since the new year. Throw the geezer on, give him 10 minutes. We don't know what he's like. He's meant to be good. You must be good because you brought him in from Celtic. Antonio's running on empty.
We were watching.
You might as well not. I tell you, you might as well not put those kids on the bench. You might as well play with 2 subs because that's all he's going to use, right?
Yeah, it's really infuriating. It is.
Yeah.
Right.
You've done it yet, Nick?
No,
John's going through the comments. We've got a load of comments there.
Okay.
We've got 97 comments.
I've been putting them up when you've been going. That's why.
Okay. I thought you were.
Why are they showing as 97? It's because I ain't read them yet. Sorry.
You ain't read them. That's why you don't know. I've been putting them up. We've been responding to some. Go on, get on to the player ratings, mate.
Right. Okay. Right. Let's get rid of that for a minute. That's done. Oh, dear. This will be fun. Right.
Yeah. We're 42 minutes in with this match review, so let's not do what we did with the player ratings the other time and spend half hour on it, hey?
What's that?
Let's not do what we did with the player ratings the other, when was it? When we took ages on the player ratings a little while ago, didn't we?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm struggling to get the bloody screen up at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Hang on.
All right.
Technical issues. Amateur.
No.
I've got it up. I just can't share it. 1 minute.
Grant was in the Southampton and when he said the subs warmed up in front of me all night.
That's why Grant was there as well.
He was in the Southampton and he said by the end of it they stopped stretching and just watched. They knew they weren't coming on. Yeah, it's probably a little bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
They probably phone up their parents and go, I've got to go all the way to Southampton. I know I'm not going to get on the bloody pitch.
I don't know what for. Yeah. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me just share that screen.
Claire reckons every one of them is going to be a donkey. I'm not so sure.
No.
I mean, the funny thing
there was
is,
some decent performances. There were some decent performances.
I've got technical issues. It won't let me do it.
I don't think the
defense. Do it.
No.
Just say it. Just say a name and we'll rate them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Start with keeper. Go on. Areola.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me drop out and go in again. 1 minute, and I'll
Areola for me was a 6.
Just have a chat for a second. I'll drop out and I'll come back in.
Well, we can start, can't we?
No, go on. No, you can't. You're not allowed.
Power trip.
I tell you, control freak.
Kim Jong-un. I thought Areola, he made a good save in the second half, but he didn't have a lot to do. I mean, he picked the ball out the net 3 times, didn't do massively much wrong.
He made a great save in the second half, didn't he?
Made a brilliant save from Nathan Redmond,
Yeah.
I mean,
really good save. Really good save.
I think he had an average game for me, like a 6 or something, you know what I mean? But
yeah. I think I am still in 2 minds as to whether he was responsible for that goal. Because when the guy had a shot, I thought, oh, he's got that. And then it ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, like you say, the deviation on the ball, isn't it? The movement of the ball.
Right, let's get rid of that. Okay, let's start with Areola. Right, we'll go to you, Tommy. What do you think for a score for Areola?
I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 7. I think I'm not as inclined to blame him so much for the Southampton's opener. Yeah. I won't get that eye on him. I thought he was. He made a good save in the second half, but made a worthy save second half. He didn't do a whole lot wrong. There was no calamities from him. I don't really blame him for any of the 3 goals. He had to do, he did fairly solidly. I think it's a bit harsh to act like it was a howler for Southampton's opener, maybe a little out of position, but it was a brilliant strike. So I think he was quite solid. I'm going to give him a 7.
That's fine. Yeah. We are a democracy, so I'm going to go on. What are you going to go for, Gal?
I'll give him a 6.
John?
Yeah, I'd say he had a good game, which is an average game is a 6 for me. He didn't do anything wrong. Like Tommy, I don't think he was at fault for the first goal. Right. He did make a great save in the second half, but apart from that, he had nothing much to do. I'm going to say a 6 personally, but
See, it is with Nigel. Nigel is saying here he should have saved that first one all day long. So I wonder if Nigel was stood similar place to where I was stood.
No, yeah. Gary, if you watch that again from a certain angle, right? That basically when that ball is struck, Areola's position is way off. So when that guy strikes a ball, he's got 2/3 of the goal to aim at, and that is why that ball ended up getting past Areola, not right in the corner. His positioning was shit.
Right.
It was terrible. His positioning was bad. It weren't good.
So he invited the shot, you mean?
He invited the shot on. He showed the whole goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't have a bad game. He didn't have a bad game, did he? I don't think. But...
No, all right. 6 is fine. 6 is fine. Okay, let's go to Diop. Diop next.
I thought Diop did well, to be honest with you. I thought he was pretty much very strong in the tackle. He didn't put. I don't remember him really making an error. I don't think he was poor. I generally don't think the defensive side of our game, even though we let in 3 goals, I don't think defensively was where the problem was at in a funny sort of way, even though we let in 3 goals. You know what I mean? Genuinely, I don't. I'm not sure. I feel
like whenever they did try to pressure us, they did put us under pressure, though, to be honest. I mean,
yeah, but Nick, what chances did they have apart from a worldie, a penalty, and the goal in the 94th minute, whatever it was? They didn't open us up, Nick. It was all in the middle, mate.
I think he did well.
I think it was a 7.
I'll go 6 on Diop.
I'll go 7. He had a good game.
Yeah.
I'm going 7. I thought Diop was solid. I'm going to give him a 7. I think there's some 8s coming in, which is very high, I think. But
in the chat, there's 7 and 8s, predominantly 7 and 8s. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, I think a 7. I thought Diop had a good game, actually. He certainly wasn't one of our worst performers. He made one really great, strong challenge out in the wing as well, which I really enjoyed. Can't remember who it was on, but no, I thought I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was solid. I have to say.
Claire's the only one that's gone in low. She's given him a 5.
Yeah, I would have gone. I think is across the board, I'd go low because we were shit. We played Southampton's B team.
I don't
say we were shit blanket because we weren't. Right?
No, get Gary. Come on, we played Southampton's B team in the cup. The fact that for 30 minutes, I know he was in control, but listen, Southampton gifted us. Listen, Southampton gifted us the ball, and they said, "Come out and show us what you've got." We had fuck all. We had nothing.
But you're blaming the defence for that. The defence are not the ones there to create opportunities. No, but
Nick, you know when John, when he starts a sentence with Gary, I know he's going to be condescending. Right? So he's going to antagonise me. So no, I disagree with you completely. Diop had nothing to do with the fact that we didn't beat Southampton's B team. He did what he was there to do, Nick.
Let me just interject, Nick. What I'm saying is, right, no matter what the team is, the defence are not there to create opportunities. That's the midfield and the attacker's job, right? Their job is to defend. They can't hold out forever. I don't think Southampton cut our defence open until Brozier came on, possibly.
I'm not saying any of the defenders, mate. I mean, Diop did have a good game. My argument is, how can you give anyone a good score when we played
you have to judge them individually as they play.
That's the whole point of player ratings, that you're rating the player, not the team as a whole or the result.
I know it is a team game as well. All right, no, that's fine. That's fine. Go on. Right, Zuma, go on. Gary, go on. I'll let you mark Zuma.
Well, again, I'll give him a 7. I thought he had a very solid game.
Jesus, John.
Yeah, 7 for me. Yeah,
7.
I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want to blame Diop and Zuma for. What did
we're marking them as an above-average game.
They did. They had an above-average game. Yeah.
They didn't do anything wrong, Nick. Just because we let in 3 goals, you're assuming that they were culpable or to blame. They wasn't, mate. Those two. We're going to move on to Dawson in a minute, and he probably was because he was targeted a little bit when Brozier came on.
He's allowed a bad game. He had a bad game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you. So Dawson is going to get a lower mark.
Yeah. Tommy, are you in agreement with that for 7?
This is Zuma?
Yeah, sorry.
No, I thought Zuma had a great game. Did you see how much ball he cleared and how much blocks he made? I thought Zuma was man of the match. I thought he was brilliant. I'm giving him an 8.
Yeah.
The amount of blocks he made, the amount of tackles he made, crosses he cleared. Zuma had a brilliant game.
Yeah.
Almost every time a ball came in from Southampton or a shot or an attempted cross, it was Zuma was there blocking it.
All right, we'll go 7 because, like I say, I would be going low on the marks today. So that's
in the chat. But Nick, mate, I'm not going over old ground. You have to judge the player by how the player played, not the final result, because then you'll never. It's pointless doing player ratings.
No, I'm not. They're all part of the team, and there were so many bad performances.
I think we should also
now going forward in the midfield. There is.
hang on a minute. I think we should also listen to what Tommy said and what people are saying in the chat as well, because there's a lot of people saying Zuma 8. And I've got to be honest, I thought he had a really good game.
Oh, you can't be giving
Zuma
him an 8,
was excellent.
seriously.
Well, I don't know, who you would give an 8 if it ain't going to be Zuma.
What would you give him an 8? I don't think anyone had a good game. I mean, you can't say anyone had a good game yesterday.
When I came away from that game the other night, I said the 3 centre halves and Rice had a decent game. I said they were my
That's
pick.
a decent game. That's a decent game. That's above average. A good game. That's 8 is good. 8 is you've had a really good game.
Well,
yeah, Zuma had a really good game, in my opinion.
Well, it says there, good game. He had a good game.
I'm saying 7. I'm saying 7. The consensus majority of the people in the chat are saying 7, but Nick and Gary and Tommy are saying 8. But
there's a good few 8s in that chat as well.
Yeah, there was a few 8s.
No, there is. I'm not trying to sway it to my score.
Right.
Honest
to God, every time a ball came in the box or a shot came in, it felt like Zuma was dealing with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I disagree.
Right. Dawson, it was below average, so I'll go 5 on Dawson.
Well, listen, he gave the penalty away, but he was also culpable for the ball over the top for the penalty.
Yeah. No, so I wouldn't go any lower. I think 5 is low enough.
5 is about right.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, 5 on Dawson. Yeah.
He was okay until Brozier came on. Really.
Yeah.
He couldn't.
I love Dawson, by the way. I love Dawson, but
so do I.
Not one of his finest evenings, unfortunately.
No, he had a
bad 20 minutes, I think.
Right, Johnson.
Same again for me. Another 5 for me, I'm afraid. I thought Johnson had another one of his poorer games. Really didn't contribute anything. Just struggled through the whole game. I thought another 5 for me.
I'll go 5 for him as well. I thought he played half a game. He was good defensively, but he was playing as a wing back, and so half of the game he's going forward. In fact, most of his game was going forward. He did nothing. Let's be honest.
Well, the thing is, right? This is my problem. It goes back to what Tommy was saying, where David Moyes is playing square pegs in round holes. Now, what happens is you've got Ben Johnson, who is probably one of the better right backs. Or he's the best defensive right back that we've got. But then what he does is he devises a system whereby Johnson isn't really playing defensive. He's playing him as an attacking fucking wing back. So he's exposing his weaknesses. Now, Fornell's right. Fornell's is hard working. So Fornell's, yes, because he will track back and he will do this and he will work hard. It don't make him a good defender. It don't mean he's a good defender, but because he's hard working, he'll run a lot. So that is why Moyes puts him there. But what you're doing is you're losing everything that's good about Fornells. You've got square pegs and fucking round holes everywhere. It drives me mad.
So you can get away with it 1 or 2 games. So Fornells was good against Wolves, but he wasn't so effective against Southampton. And I think the thing is disappointing.
He won't play to his strengths. He won't play to his strengths.
Johnson had too much of the ball, but probably to be fair, Nick, probably what you said, they probably thought let him have it.
They was letting him have it. You could see it. They weren't even marking him because the minute he got the ball and he ran down, whoever was on that side, the fullback, he had no issue with him.
Let's move on to Fornells, yeah.
All right, Gary.
Come on, we're going to be all night reviewing this game.
No,
let's move on.
Right, Fornells.
6.
Gary, Fornells.
6.
Yeah.
6 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, he was all right. He didn't put up
any
any
he was the usual industrious, and lots of running.
I wouldn't disagree. I'll go with that.
Got into some promising positions, but really didn't do anything with it.
No.
Okay, right. Declan Rice.
Tough one.
Again, not one of his better games. Actually, I didn't think.
No, I would say that.
I don't think he was as bad as some of the players around him. So I think I'll probably give him a 7 because I did think he did some good stuff.
I'd go Rice 7. I think he was carrying the lump that was next to him that was doing nothing.
7 for me, and that 7 really for Declan is a low score. So
so I'll go 7.
Yeah, I'd go late 6, early 7s. So
yeah.
I mean, I think I make Nigel right, giving him an 8, playing next to what's his name,
Tommy
Scarface. Right,
So
Souček next. Tell me what you think of this bloke, please. And I'll let you all go first.
Sorry, who's first?
Go on, Tommy, you go
first. 4. I thought he was absolute dog shit.
He was shit. Thank you.
Absolutely horrific. A terrible game. He was not only did he not play well, he was a liability. Just a terrible game. It was a 4. He was awful.
I usually would protect him a bit, but I agree with that. I think he was terrible.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, I'd have to say 4. I'd say 5, 4. And yeah, I mean, Alan in the chat, he did miss a couple of our chances when we was on top early doors as well.
Early on, he missed a very good chance.
He did fuck all in that game.
Obviously we know, look, he's not having a good season overall, but the funny thing is that I've noticed as well this season, I mean, not only is he bad kind of in open play, but he's not even threatening on set pieces anymore. No. Last season he was playing really well, but even on corners or free kicks that were going to be whipped into the box, you're thinking, oh, let's get this on Souček's head. This season he's not even threatening from corners and free kicks anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him.
No.
Well, Dawson seems to be the focus of the corners, doesn't it? This year.
What's going on with him, Gary? I think we said it. You said it the other day. It was the same thing. What's happened is in the Premier League, you get away with it for so long, but if you have a weakness, it will get sussed out. Now, Thomas Souček cannot cope if you press him. So what happens now is whenever you see Thomas Souček receive the ball to feet, he's got players on him. And the minute that happens, he shits himself and he don't know what to do. He can't think quick enough and he can't execute quick enough. So he misplaces passes. Have a look. Just go back the last 10 games and have a look at his pass completion rate. It is dreadful. He's been
I just wonder as well if there's a little attitude issue here. I wonder if he's throwing his dummy out the pram because he doesn't like this kind of new, more defensive style of play he's having to play this season, with Rice being given kind of the freedom to get forward more.
Don't get me going on.
I think he doesn't like having to be as defensive as he's had to be this season, and that's really what Moyes has asked him to do. I suspect he's not happy.
Yeah, but the only thing I'd say quickly to round off Souček is, and I understand what you're saying, Tom, and I don't know the guy personally, but from the way he comes across and where he's come from, I can't imagine he'd be throwing his toys out the pram, but he may just not be enjoying the role that he's been given this season,
That's what I mean. I don't think he's enjoying it, and he's struggling to motivate himself and really get going. And I think that's possibly why he's not contributing on set pieces anymore either. I think he's just not attacking them like he was.
Yeah, but I think what Ross says here. Look, Ross, I don't think it's his attitude. His attitude is fine, and his attitude is fine. His attitude is. I think I do believe that. I think he's a professional, and I think he will always do his best. He's out of his depth now. He's been found out.
I accept the attitude part. When I said throwing his dummy out the pram, I didn't mean literally kind of causing problems or being a problem with his attitude. I just think within himself, he's not happy, and he's lost motivation, and he's lost that kind of drive a little bit. And I think really affecting him.
There's that one observation that Nick made, and that's Ross and me. We go to every game together and we watch it from the same angle, and what you see this problem with Souček, it's emerged this season. It happened early on where he gets the ball and the other team just descend on him. Multiple players descend. I think it first happened against Brentford earlier in the season when Brentford just fanned him out so horribly, right? And
I don't feel guilty, Paul.
Yeah, and ever since Brentford did it to Souček earlier in the season, they crowded him out. Other teams have done it as well, and he panics. He's like a deer in the headlights. He seems to just throw up his arms and.
But I think this season, even out of possession, like when our opponents have the ball, the game is just passing him by. He looks like lost out there, and I don't know.
He looks a little bit at times like a rabbit in the headlights, doesn't he?
He does. Well, it was the same with Soufal as well. Soufal, when he plays. I think they've done the same to him. I think, obviously, look, the Czech league is a bit different where they've come from, and I think that maybe they've just been sussed out. But sort of moving on, right? Lanzini, for me, I'll go first. I'll give him a 6. I think he did really well up until Souček went off and he struggled deeper. Yeah. I think him and Fornals had a good game. He's probably the same as Fornals for me, 6.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Had an okay game, but no more than that. 6 for me as well.
Yeah,
You all happy with that?
Yeah, I'd say 6.
Right, Bowen.
By his standards, very ineffective. But was he playing in his usual position? I don't think he was.
I would go 5. He was below average today. He was like a Dawson. He was a 5 today.
I was disappointed with him. I'd be happy with a 5.
You happy with that, John? Tommy?
Yeah, I'd say 6 personally. But
I think I'm with. I'll probably go 6 on this. I think 5 is maybe a little harsh, but I understand where you're coming from. It was one of his most ineffective games of the season, and he fluffed a really good opportunity.
He did.
I'm going against the grain.
Good chance.
Yeah, so he just wasn't sharp at all. Maybe go 5.5 would keep us all happy. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, he's going against the old decimal points.
Going against the grain, just so we can move on. So Gary stops tantruming. Right, Antonio. Antonio next. I think. Look, at the end of the day, I would mark him up, but I think he was definitely no worse than Bowen. But he got a goal. So for me, I would have said he was the same as Bowen.
He got a tap in, and other than that, I don't remember anything he did. To be honest.
Well, I think he did. He got through a hell of a lot of work, especially.
Well,
he was no worse than Bowen.
Yeah, his touch let him down as it usually does. I would, because of the goal, I'd give him a 6.
Yeah, there's a few 7s in the chat, but yeah, I'd give him a 6. You know, wherever he scored the goal from, I don't think it really matters. Gary Lineker made a career on tapping, so I don't think that's a reason to score him down per se. I think it was an average game, wasn't above average, wasn't good, so I'll be happy with a 6.
Right, there's going to be one more donkey in this. Can you guess who is going on? Right, we're going to go Vlasic first.
Well, Vlasic, I wouldn't give him a donkey, but because he was playing as a left wing back, but I'll give him a 4.
No, he did nothing wrong. No, Vlasic did nothing wrong. He was okay.
I'll give him, he did nothing.
I'll just give him a 5.
I'd go a 5.
Yeah.
You happy with that, John?
I don't think Vlasic I don't remember him doing anything effective at all, if I'm honest with you. So 5, below average.
Yeah. Well, played him in goals.
I'll tell you what he didn't do, John. He didn't give the ball away every 2 fucking minutes. Like this next bloke that we're gonna review.
But
every decision that he made was fucking wrong and shit, and it really was. And all you're seeing on social media, you're seeing some people that see it, and then you're getting other people. I actually watched the channel earlier on today where they said there's an agenda against Ben Rama. I don't know what they're getting. I don't know what fucking game they're watching. That bloke, he literally fucked up and fluffed so many of our attacks yesterday. He really did. His passing was atrocious. He was awful, and I'm disliking him more and more and more. We know he's got talent. We know he looks good and he looks sexy on the ball. We all like a flair player, but let me tell you, people, he ain't Payet. He ain't fucking Lingard. He really ain't. He's not that type of player.
I'll tell you what, though, in training, he can do keepy uppies, round the front, round the back, shoulder to shoulder. He can do everything. He can keep the ball up for fucking ages. But in a game of football, in the Premier League or in this FA Cup, on the other night, you see what he does. And what he does is he doesn't concentrate. He doesn't concentrate. I mean, do you remember there are 2 parts the other night that epitomised Ben Rama for me? Number one was when he leant back and shot that ball over the bar. Nothing winds me up more than when a player does that because it's pure technique. There's no need to do that. It's lazy. It's just not getting it. It's just incorrect body position.
Did you see the part where Fornells went down the left hand side? No, it was the easiest pass in the world.
Yeah.
He overripped the fucking thing.
That's the third one.
I'll tell you what.
Third one. But the second one that wound me up, can I just say, the second one that wound me up was in the centre circle where someone has passed him the ball. And he's just assumed that there's a pass on, not bothered looking, and just played a quick pass to the opposition, directly to the opposition.
I am sorry. I am sorry. I'm done with him.
Yeah, I think I am too. I'll tell you what frustrates me. You see it with certain players, all the ability in the world, but absolutely no footballing intelligence whatsoever.
No brain. No football brain.
No football brain. And that's been Rama for me. If he had a football brain, he'd be an unbelievable player. But he just has no football brain. Payet had both. Payet had unbelievable ability and a brilliant footballing brain. Payet always did the right thing. And
but at that time, Payet was a world-class player, wasn't he? But no one.
Yes,
I don't
but
think anyone.
my point is he would not be a world class player, Payet, regardless of ability, if he was like Benrahma.
No, of course, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
had no brain.
No, I totally agree. Yeah,
for what he was doing, and that's the difference. That's the difference. No, look, Payet is more talented than Benrahma as well. I'll give you that. But I mean, how often when do you see the difference is when Benrahma gets the ball, you know he's probably going to do something stupid. And when Payet got the ball, you were off your seat. You were like, he's going to do something brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's not just ability; it's up here.
Do you know what he is though, Tommy? Tommy, he's one of those. He's a highlights guy. He's a match of the day guy. What will happen is Benrahma will do one thing good in the game, that will get a clip on Match of the Day or something like that, and people will go, "Oh my god!" Or people who watch highlights, "Oh my god, he's amazing!"
At the end of the season,
they won't see the rest of the shit that he does throughout the game.
Yeah, at the end of the season, you could put together a 10-minute YouTube.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, Benrahma's season and make him look like a worldie. I'm putting him in the Soucek section here. I thought not only did he come in and not play well, I thought he was an absolute liability as well.
I thought he degraded that position. To be honest, I think he went down. I think he went backwards.
I'm giving him a 4 as well. To be honest.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's fine by me. Gary,
I'm giving him a 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
Wow.
I was going to go 2. I was going to go 2.
He annoyed me. He annoyed me the other night.
I'm being honest with you. I'm struggling to give him less than Vlasic because I don't think Vlasic did anything at all, and Benny did make a few bad passes, but he was on the ball more. So you could say, well, he's going to give more mistakes if he's on the ball more. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So for me, I'd say a 4. I'd say a 4.
All right. Okay, we'll give him a 4, and he is getting a donkey. Okay, go on. Start on Moyes.
Well, I think, look, Moyes picked a decent side. It should have worked. His changes were awful.
Yeah.
He didn't change the game. He didn't change it up when he needed to. So I'm talking about the last 25 minutes of the game. So for Moyes, I'll give him a 5 because it was a below average performance.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give him a 5 as well. Not because of the formation change. I mean, you can play wing backs and it can work very, very well. And we've done that in the past. We've played the wing back system and gotten some good wins using it, albeit he doesn't use it very often these days. But for me, he's getting a 5, not for the formation, or at least not the formation he started with. But the fact that he had so many square pegs and round holes, the fact that he didn't change up the formation when he should have, and when it was required to give us more of an attacking threat, and the fact that he used 2 out of 5 substitutions, it's just, I thought it was poor from Moyes overall. So a 5 for me as well.
Yeah, I would go even below that. I would go 4 for him personally. It won't be 4 because everyone's above that, but my rating would be 4 because I think he selected a strong team. I think he picked the wrong shape tactically. I think he didn't address that. I don't think he addressed it, and he didn't. I thought his reactivity in the game was just shit. I thought it was bad. It was poor from Moyes, from me, as far as I'm concerned. I thought he got it woefully wrong. He picked a strong team, but he played them in the wrong way, and he didn't do anything right other than putting a team sheet out that looked like it was strong and should have beat Southampton.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit with Grant here. I love Moyes. Moyes has given me 2 fantastic seasons, and he's allowed me to tell my son that West Ham are a good team once and for all, right? And my son believes it. But the stubbornness now and the lack of change and the excuses that he's coming out with after games. I mean, if that is true that he said, well, they won to use sub.
He said that, yeah.
The problem is with someone like me, I'm a fan I'm always half glass full kind of guy, generally, with West Ham. But you sort of get to a point when you can't defend him anymore. You know what I mean?
That statement, another angle on that statement. If you're one of those under 23 players that was on the bench, and you hear that statement, what you're going to hear, and I think you're absolutely right, because I think this is ultimately what David Moyes is saying, is that he felt he only had 2 subs on the bench.
Good point, actually. Good point, isn't it? You're actually telling the other.
He's basically saying, I will not use these under 23 players.
That's a good point. And
you know when he's saying Southampton had 5 subs that they could bring on and use, and I didn't. I only had 2. If you're an under 23 on that bench, you're thinking,
Tommy, do you know what though? Southampton, right? Southampton on an annual basis, because their board historically, whenever they get good players, they fucking sell them off. They sell them on. Their managers have to do a rebuild job every summer, and for some reason, they always manage to get players in and do what. Imagine David Moyes if he had his best players sold out from underneath him every year. He don't get that. He don't get his best players sold.
Southampton have a fantastic academy.
Yeah, but I know. But what I'm saying is, but they're not from their academy. These players, John, they've been brought in.
A lot of them are.
Seriously, David Moyes, all he's got to do is build on what he's fucking got. And he can't even do that. He's dealing. Look at their. Let me throw their fucking bench up again. Hang on, 1 minute. It is infuriating. Just look at the benches.
Mm-hmm. I know. I agree with you.
I mean, how can Southampton be that strong? And look at ours. Fucking Ben Rama won't get on their bench.
Chairman, let's move on.
Right, we'll move on anyway. Right, that's that done. Okay.
I never thought we were going to see the end of that Southampton game.
It's a match review. It's a match review.
I had enough of it the other night. Honestly, I had enough of it the other night. I was
if I'm an under 23 now, I'm looking for a club.
I tell you,
football, because that statement from Moyes tells me
I never thought of it like
you're
that.
never playing me.
No.
Yeah, I never.
No, that is a really good point. That is a really good point.
I agree.
He doesn't consider them viable options, does he?
No.
Nope.
Okay, right. On, Gary, on to you.
Let's move on to the news.
And now, for our Claret and Booze news. Well, Hammer's news, not the rest of the shit that we don't care about. Being delivered expertly and succinctly, that's easy for you to say, by our very own Gary.
Right, so...
Come on, Gary, hurry up.
Welcome everyone to Claret and Booze News. So in a week when Declan Rice was voted the best player in London, no surprise there, and David Moyes was voted the best manager in London, that's quite a surprise, West Ham limped out of the FA Cup away to Southampton, while former England captain John Terry tweeted a happy smiling picture of him and the Russian gangster Roman Abramovich celebrating one of the 20 cups that the oligarch bought in his 19 years at Chelsea. And finally, Dimitri Payet admitted that he only left West Ham for family reasons and that playing in France in the Euros made him and his family long for home. So that's all settled then. So tonight we've got 3 big news stories, including the ridiculous changes to the Champions League format. That'll be quite passionate. And some big news that David Moyes might have to break up the team for us to be successful. Interesting. But let's start off with a fun one, just to get us going. Nikola Vlasic. So, with all the troubles in Ukraine and subsequent focus on stopping the flow of Russian money, we learned this week that FIFA are trying to get foreign players playing in Russia out of their contracts with zero compensation to the clubs. To put it bluntly, players will be allowed to rip up their contracts. Not sure this is even legal or moral, but as we'll see in the next news story, when has morals ever got in the way of the footballing authorities? What it does do, potentially, though, is allow for clubs like West Ham, who still owe money to Russian clubs for their prized assets, to perhaps defer that payment for many years or maybe get away with paying it altogether. Some background. Vlasic's old club, CSKA Moscow, who we owe the money to, are formerly the official football team of the Russian military. And as a club, they were hit personally by the recent US sanctions. The club is chaired by Vladimir Putin's personal advisor, Maxim Oreshkin. Its Russian holding company was placed under sanctions, but it's a tangled web, including 22% shares of that holding company held by a company called Blue Castle Enterprises, who are a UK company, who are still on the UK business register. Either way, I don't think we're going to be paying this debt. But onto the player, though. Vlasic's price tag, I reckon, has probably weighed on him a little bit heavily. Not that I blame the player, because he's been used everywhere except his preferred position in his time here. And Vlasic will either make it or he won't as a West Ham player, or he'll be moved on. But this development surely allow us to sell him and pocket the fee. But I wonder, if he doesn't work, we could sell him and just pocket the profit. But I wonder how that works when you're still, in theory, owe money under contract to a sanctioned entity. I don't know. So, Tommy, this one goes to you. Do you think we're going to get away with this robbery? And do you think we could sell him if we wanted to?
I doubt it. The way is it UEFA? You said we're talking about the situation over there.
FIFA are trying to tear up get the players to tear up the contracts. Yeah,
that to me feels like a legal minefield. I think that would be something absolutely that any Russian club would take to the courts. That could get tangled up in kind of in legal wrangling for a long time and could get very messy. I just don't see how FIFA can get away with that without a lengthy kind of court battle or something like that. So no, I don't see how FIFA can realistically enforce something like that. A contract is still a contract, regardless of whether Russia have invaded Ukraine. A contract is still a contract, and if FIFA want to try and get players ripping up contracts, the clubs are not going to lie down and take that. They'll take legal action, and that could take God knows how long to resolve. So, if FIFA really want to push on this, this could get really messy. So it's hard to know at the minute if FIFA are really serious about that or if it's just bluster. But obviously, look, FIFA have their own lawyers, so I don't know what they're telling FIFA about how realistic that is. Because the club will say, look, there's a war going on. Okay, we're a sporting organization, we're a football club, and we have contracted players. You can't just tell, as a government body, you can't just tell players to start ripping up contracts.
I wonder if it's a direct, for instance, us with a UK entity contracting with a Russian entity directly, or if it's through an interim, a sort of, how can I say, a partner in the middle or something like that. Because that's the way these things are usually done when there's a little bit of an issue around working local to local, right? But how all the deals that are done in terms of player contracts and everything else, they're all registered with the local football authority and UEFA and FIFA, aren't they?
Yeah.
So there must be some kind of jurisdiction, I would think, over those clubs and the way they operate from FIFA at the top and then UEFA and then the local league level.
Well, sure, but I mean, as far as I'm aware, CSKA have not acted in any way improper as regards signing players.
No, they're not to blame because of contract.
It's just hard to know now. I mean, if this does go down the route of kind of a major legal battle, I'll tell you what, if Moyes doesn't fancy Vlasic that much,
he might not want him for free either.
he might actually end up just sending him back and just saying, look, he could just say to CSKA, look, you lot might be in legal battle over these contracts for months on end.
Yeah.
And you can't expect us to keep making these payments, while all this stuff is going on. And in the meantime, they could just say, come to some financial arrangement with CSKA Moscow where they just send him back.
That's interesting.
And don't pay any more money, especially if Moyes doesn't particularly fancy him, they might just try and offload him back to CSKA.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because that would solve the problem of money transfer, right? You wouldn't have to, and that's the issue, isn't it? It's transferring money to sanctioned Russian entities. You wouldn't have to do that. You just give the player back and cancel the contract.
But then, so I read earlier on last week that Schalke, their shirt sponsor is Gazprom, and I think they're like some little massive Russian company, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
But Schalke, now they're under contract, so Schalke have just taken that sponsorship off their shirt straight away. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that. Like the ramifications of that as well.
A lot of companies, off the back of the US sanctions, a lot of companies have just torn up agreements. They've just done it. They felt empowered to do it.
Right. Okay.
Have you all mentioned Crow on this as well? There's a lot of it in the chat because obviously we got him on loan, but is there going to be like problems with ownership with these?
No, because they own him, don't they? We're just his parent. We're just his like, what's he called it?
Crowd doesn't come from a Russian club. What's that about?
Spartak comes from Spartak.
Does he? Does he come from Spartak Moscow? Oh my God!
Yeah.
We've won the lottery. We've got 2 free players.
Yeah, comes from Spartak.
That's a good call. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we're going to be sending Krell back anyway. But
yeah,
we will do.
His run goes back in the summer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's a loan with option.
I think.
Well, don't worry. I think that's a simple one. I think he'll be sent back.
I think personally, the only way players' contracts are going to be torn up is if it's a mutual thing between the club and them. There was a story come out yesterday. There's a Ukrainian player who was playing for Zenit St. Petersburg, and him and the club have mutually terminated the contract. I don't think UEFA can get involved because of the blue tape, red tape, whatever colour tape it is. It's just going to be all sorts of minefields. And as Tommy rightly says, it's difficult to blame the clubs in it for what Putin's doing. You know what I mean? It's not really their fault. But you do understand, especially foreign nationals playing in the Russian league and the Ukrainian league. They want to get out of there, didn't they?
This is a good point. Look, from Trini Hammer, Gazprom was also one of the sponsors of the Champions League.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the Champions League final was supposed to be played in Zenit, and Gazprom sponsored that stadium as well. Yeah. It's the Gazprom Stadium. So, that's been moved now to France.
But that's interesting. It's interesting how, sport and politics shouldn't mix is always a question. But it seems like, quite rightly, but a lot of these things have just happened instantaneously without any second thought. And I always thought that contractually, how would you get away with something like that? Because the contracts, are
Gazprom are one of the biggest
state-owned
Russian multinationals, and they're deeply embedded with Putin.
Right, okay.
No, right,
okay. It's the links. Yeah. But would we want Vlasic? I don't know if we'd want Vlasic, would we?
To be fair, with Vlasic, okay, unlike with Ben Rama, I think Vlasic has got a look of the forenails about him. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be. He's not going to be a world beater, but I think he could eventually become a really, really fucking good player. Right? He looks like he's hard working. He looks like he's buying into what Moyes is asking him to do. We all know that when David Moyes gets a player in, for whatever reason, he seems to want to just try and change the way that they play. For all we know, it could be that Vlasic is trying to just do what Moyes is asking him to do. You don't know. Whereas Ben Rama, what I will say is perhaps Ben Rama just isn't capable of doing that side of things. It's not in his armory to be And
to be fair, I think Vlasic did really well in the Europa League group stage. I thought he played really well in some of those games.
Yeah. No. I hope he comes good. He's got.
The thing is, he's kind of stalled a bit because he's not getting enough game time. I thought over the Europa League group stage, and he played obviously as well in the Carabao Cup, and it looked to me like he was improving all the time, like he was really coming along, and he was starting to find his feet. But since the group stage ended and we've got out the Carabao Cup, it's gone just kind of stalled. His progress.
What was bizarre was like, because you think it's like succession building, isn't it? And obviously Yarmolenko, like I'm not going to dig him out at the moment, definitely not. But Yarmolenko, before all this happened, we didn't want to see him on the pitch because it looked like he was done. He was ineffective, and even he was getting on the pitch in front of Vlasic. Now that just seems crazy because you want to be developing a player you just bought and getting him ready to kick on next season. And it seems like, and he's only going to get better if he plays.
Yeah, because what I was thinking was, when we were watching, Vlasic and say Lanzini were both playing in Europa League group stage and playing Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And then they were making some substitute appearances in the Premier League. And I thought both players were going the same way. I thought, they were both kind of finding their feet again. Well, I'll say Lanzini again, but Vlasic was starting to find his feet as well. Lanzini's form was improving. His match fitness was there. He was looking sharp. And I thought they were both on a really good trajectory. Whereas Lanzini was given the chance then in the Premier League, where he, coming on as a sub, just like Vlasic. And I thought they were both doing really well off the bench. And then Moyes started playing Lanzini from the start of games in the Premier League. And he continued his form from the Cups in the Premier League because he had the match fitness, he had the confidence. He'd built back up his game. He was playing really well. So I thought Lanzini got the chance to push on in the Premier League. But Vlasic was never given that chance for me. to keep kicking on, because I thought he really was kicking on Lanzini.
He started a number of Europa League games, and he played League Cup games as well, didn't he? And he was starting to look good. And like you said, in that first half against Tottenham, up front with Bowen, I thought he looked superb. I thought he looked really good. Started to come into his own. And
so I think Moyes has stalled him a bit again.
I don't think he's ever going to be that talisman. He's not that type of player. I think, but he could become. Agreed.
But I think he looked like he could be a really useful player.
Absolutely.
And I think he could start more games. I mean, whenever I've seen him, like Moyes has tended to bring him on and playing on the left-hand side, and I thought he's looked really tidy out on that left-hand side and done some nice stuff. Certainly, he's impressed me a lot more than Ben Rama when he's come on, I have to say.
I agree with you, but I also think one of the problems is we've got far too many number 10s. There's not enough positions.
What's Mike talking about here? Moyes has his favourite. Zuma and Lingard proved that.
No, he's had a drink. Don't worry about Mike.
I suppose because they start every game. But then again, they were both
they're match winners in their own way, though, aren't they?
Both absolutely cracking players.
They're match winners. I do agree with him. They do have. Moyes does have his favourite.
Yeah, I mean, every manager.
But the thing is, your favourites are generally the ones you can rely on. They only become your favourites because they perform.
Yeah,
they're not your favourites beforehand.
You see this from Guarino as well. He is back. Guarino, he's back from Poland. I mean, just think about that for a minute. You know, Yarmolenko had to go and rescue his wife and child.
Yeah, no matter what.
Ukraine.
Just give me just give me 1 second. I'll be back. Okay.
Like you hit on Nick. At the end of the day, mate. No matter what we think of him as a player, you know, as a human being, as a father, as a husband, you know, you've got to give him utmost respect, and that's it. I'll never slag the guy off again.
No, never.
Exactly that. You can't have a go at the guy. You got to just feel sorry for him. You know, seeing his family stranded out there and stuff like that. God, he must have been.
Apparently, he has been coming into training and stuff. And Moyes came out in his press conference, and he was asked about that, and he basically came out and he said it's horrible. He said you just feel helpless. He said because I'm his manager. He said, but there is nothing I can do for him in this situation. You know, he said because it's not just these John's frozen. It's not just these. It's not just his immediate family. He's gonna have other family and friends out there as well. You know, it's going to be fucking. And it's his country at the end of the day. You know,
absolutely. I agree with you.
And they are. Well, look at the way they're fighting. They're patriotic people as well. You know, they're
patriotic. They're tough. They you know, and there's a lot on offer here. You know, because they've got used to, you know, Ukraine have got used to living a normal kind of liberal lifestyle with all the trappings of what we have, right? It's a normal sort of Western life. And, you know, I suppose the thought of going back and living under a modern day Iron Curtain is not really what they want to do, you know?
No, they've applied for, they've also now applied
to NATO
for
now,
NATO membership.
Yeah, that's right. And that's going to cause all sorts of issues, but, you know, I hope they get it. And listen, on a human level, as John said, on a human level, it's just a game of football we're talking about here. Yeah. Right. This is not life and death. This is a game of football, even though people might treat it like life and death. It isn't.
I never have, frankly.
Well, you've got
as passionate as I am about it. It's, you know, it's sport. You know.
Exactly. Treat it for what it is, you know, and be nice to the bloke whose family was stranded in Ukraine while the Russians were, you know, attacking it with super weapons and stuff like that. I mean, just must be heart rendering, right? Must be.
No. It's awful. It is awful.
Yeah, I mean, you saw. I remember last week. You saw how emotional Zinchenko was, and you know, when that's your country, and you know, you've got family over there and friends, people you love and care about, and plus it's your country. You're going to love your country. When it gets invaded like that, and you know, it's getting blown to fucking smithereens. You know, it's a highly emotional thing.
Yeah. No, it really is. It really is. So the upshot is we could end up getting Vlasic for nothing, and we might not be able to send Krell back, so we'll be stuck with a fuzzy head fucker.
Krell's going to tear his contract up, and he's going to box himself in. He's going to nail himself into his apartment over in Canary Wharf and make sure he can't leave.
Vlasic will depart by mutual consent. I can assure you.
No, Vlasic.
Not Vlasic. Sorry, Krell.
Sorry, Krell. Yeah, Krell. Yeah.
Just a quick comment from Trevor. A quick comment from Trevor. Who is this Krell fella?
Yeah, I know.
I've never seen him, mate, but he's apparently
must
got
be
a perm.
really bad. He must be really bad.
He must be shit, mustn't he? Well, we saw against Kidderminster. He looked awful. I know. Yeah. But even then, right? Even then, I will say it's like this Vlasic. They've come from different leagues. Unless you play him a little bit, you can't really judge him because I don't think you can even really judge him in training as much because it was like Antonio. Do you remember when we signed Antonio? It's like Bilic. You can only really see what Antonio was all about when he actually put him on the pitch.
Yeah,
Josh Cullen must be better than him.
Yeah. No.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, look, let's move on to story number 2, and this one will get the juices flowing. It's a lovely story of greed. So we'll remember the uproar when the greedy 5 plus Spurs, won't call them the greedy 6, greedy 5 plus Spurs tried to break away to form the European Super League. It feels like only yesterday, and we saw the so-called punishments inflicted by the Premier League, were minimal because they were afraid of them. At the time, UEFA were outraged. They wanted to sanction all clubs, threatening to eject them from their domestic leagues if they went forward with it, before predictably just backing down and playing softball. Yesterday, we saw the true agenda from UEFA. They didn't think the Super League was some moral outrage after all. They were just upset at potentially being cut off from the gravy train. So in true greedy UEFA style, they've announced that from 2024, the shape of the Champions League will in many ways emulate what was being proposed by the Super League group in the first place. The Champions League will be grown from 32 to 36 teams, meaning the big leagues in Spain, Italy, Germany, and England will get another place. So top 5 will likely qualify for the Champions League. Also, the group stage will be replaced by a league system with 5 home and 5 away fixtures before moving into the final knockout stages. So it's 100 more games in total, 100 more games generating more dirty money for the participants. And this is where it gets really like the Super League. The likes of Arsenal and Spurs wanted their recent Champions League history to almost guarantee their participation in future tournaments, right? That's history, right? So what they've come up with is this. For all qualification, the final 2 places will be decided based on the UEFA coefficient for the last 10 years. You heard that right. The last 10 years. Almost guaranteeing that, for instance, if we finished, little old West Ham finished 4th or 5th, and Arsenal or Spurs finished 6th or 7th, they would take our place on the gravy train due to their historic Champions League participation, thereby preserving their UEFA coefficient, thereby this self-fulfilling prophecy just carries on. So it's basically a closed shop now. Anyone without a recent Champions League history finishing the lower qualifying places will likely never qualify. So, John, and this one's for you. What do you think about it? Nice open question. And where do you think this is all going to end up?
Well, eventually it's going to end up with exactly what they want. They're going to get exactly what they want. They are the almighty. They are the powerful. And other clubs, such as ourselves and other clubs around, will always be inferior. You only I spoke to you before we came on. I've been a bit up and down this week, obviously, with my operation, but so I didn't really read too much into it. But I'm not surprised, but I'm actually very shocked because to me, it takes out the whole point of us even fighting to want to finish 4th. What is the point of us wanting to get into this Champions League, which, let's be honest, hasn't been a Champions League for 30 years or so. So many teams that get in, they get in. Arsenal made 20 years of finishing 4th to get in the Champions League, their position, their priority at the start of every season. It just undermines everything about sport. It undermines everything about football. And to me, it's absolutely disgusting. And it's, as Paul said in the chat, it's purely about money. And they know that people in China or Asia or anywhere else around the world would rather be watching Man United than Real Madrid versus Real Madrid than West Ham versus, I don't know, Sheriff of Romania or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's all it boils down to. It's all about television revenue. Bums on seats in stadiums means sod all to these people. We know that. It's all about television rights. It's all about how much more money they can earn. And to me, it just shows them up for what crooks they are. You know,
what they're doing essentially here. What they're doing is taking the entire concept of merit, rolling up in a ball in their hands and fucking it into the bin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And merit is what sport is ultimately all about.
Exactly.
Well, this is going to like a US structure, isn't it? Where it's almost like you just sort of guaranteed your place if you're a big entity. It's a private club. It's going to become a private club.
They may as well just change the name of it now to the European Super League.
It does make you wonder whether the fucking European Super League thing was all a big, smokescreen, just to kind of
This is the power of the big clubs. This is the power of the big clubs. They frightened the shit out of the Premier League and particularly out of UEFA. They frightened the shit out of them. Even though it didn't work and they didn't get their breakaway league, it
got their attention.
It terrified UEFA, who knew that we haven't heard the end of this. We may have shot it down this time, but we have not heard the end of it. This is going to come around again. These big clubs are going to try this again, and maybe next time they'll do it. And UEFA now are basically just kowtowing to the major 100%. European clubs and giving them what they wanted all along. Just in the guise of Champions League, so that they can just keep them under the UEFA umbrella.
But what will happen is, because obviously it's the frequency of Champions League games will increase. So the teams that are existing in that competition, they're going to prioritise that competition over the Premier League. So domestic leagues are going to become
doesn't matter to them. Yeah,
they're going to become
League Cup. Will they remove the League Cup now because there are too many Champions League games?
Yeah.
Will the FA Cup be further watered down because there are more Champions League games?
Yeah, they'll join it in the fucking 6th round or 5th round or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
give them a bye to the 6th round. Wouldn't that be beautiful? It would be a thing of beauty, that would.
Yeah. I just think this is for me,
it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Look, when I first got into football, it was always whoever won their league was in the UEFA or whatever it was called then. It wasn't called the Champions League when I started watching it.
European
it was predominantly Man United. Yeah, just the European Cup. Man United won the league. They'd be playing in the new camp against Barcelona. I think I remember Mark Hughes scoring a goal. I used to enjoy watching it because they were the champions of the league that you follow, that your team are in. I'm not a fan of the Champions League. And you could say, well, that's because West Ham ain't in it. But that's why, for me, finishing 4th is not such a big hoo-ha because it's been watered down for the last number of God knows how many years anyway.
Yeah, that is a really good point, right? Because if you remember back to the early 80s, right, you don't. You two don't. But if you remember back to the early 80s when Nottingham Forest, it was late 70s, wasn't it? Nottingham Forest won the European Cup twice. The whole country were behind Nottingham Forest because they were the sole representatives of England in Europe in the European Cup, right? And then you had whoever was in I remember supporting Spurs in the 1982. Yeah, sorry, but I did. Spurs in the 1982 UEFA Cup. Wow. When was it? 81, 82? I can't remember. Anyway, and I remember supporting Villa in the 1982 European Cup as well. It could have been 81. I can't remember, wherever it was, right? But you get the picture. Those teams that qualified were the representatives of the country who went abroad. Now you've got fucking loads of representatives, right? And they're not even champions. They haven't won it on merit. They've just won it because probably they've got a load of money and they've managed to scrape a 4th place finish.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea are in the fucking Champions League final, finished 4th. It's like
let's be honest.
They're World Club champions now.
Yeah, but let's be totally honest about it. What is the Conference League if it isn't just another way of making money for UEFA? It's,
of course it is.
The more leagues, the more teams, the more, it's just like.
But the thing is, this is a real change because if you talk to people that sort of went through the change when Sky got involved and when the Premier League was formed and everything else, they say that was a death of football. It was to a degree because that was when money was brought in, but at least that football pyramid was maintained. Anybody could get there. So the whole foundations was the same. This is different. This is almost going into something. This is very fucking different.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to end up where the Europa League is more respected.
Yeah,
as a more pure competition.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you say that, but then the Europa League is kind of also a consolation tournament for the Champions League.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
They drop down and then they become
exactly.
unseeded.
Exactly. Look what's happened this year. We've got a shitload of really good Champions League teams who would have been out on their arse in years gone past. Yeah, they're now dropping down into another lovely little lucrative tournament.
It's pure protectionism.
That shouldn't. Yeah, that definitely needs to stop. They shouldn't be allowing failed Champions League teams to drop down into Europa League.
But they're not going to stop that. They're not going to stop that, because then that generates interest in the later stages of the Europa League. Yeah. Because
to be honest, you know, I would have been bloody excited if we got someone like Barcelona. I mean, it's so novel for us too.
I would have as well.
Yeah, but don't forget, in 1999 when we won the Intertoto Cup, we beat Metz. He was over the moon. We beat anybody. I don't care who we beat to win the Europa Cup.
Listen, I said this already. I said this the other day in the car, and you just sneered at me, right? And that is, say we finish 7th this year and we get into the Conference League, I'd be perfectly happy with that. Conference League. I'd be
no. So Gary, I'll be honest with you now. Where the way I'm feeling now, I think that would be a massive achievement. I think that the Conference League to get 7th, because I think we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle. I think 7th, 6th, we ain't getting 6th. 7th will be a massive achievement for us this year.
But we've taken the piss out of Tottenham for being in the Conference League all season.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's because they're Tottenham.
But the thing is, I would hope that we would try and win it. I would hope that we would try and win that.
At the end of the day, let's say in May or whatever it is, when the Conference League final is on, if we're all sitting watching it, and I will watch it, and Leicester win it, and Leicester have won a European trophy, and they're up on the steps and they've got their trophy, I'd be thinking, fucking I'd take some of that.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's a nice big trophy as well. It's not like the little egg cup that we won. It's like a massive big trophy, isn't it?
I know. I mean, in that respect, there, what would you rather? Like, when you look at, because the fact of the matter is, if say. Look, we've got a chance against Sevilla, right? We've beat this season. We've beat Man City. We've beat Liverpool. We've beat Tottenham. We've beat massive fucking teams, right? We can beat Sevilla. We can on our day. It could happen, but we probably ain't gonna. We ain't in form, so we're probably not gonna. So in that sense, there, if we bail out of the Europa League and then Leicester go on and win the Europa Conference League, I would rather have been them.
Yeah,
I would rather have bailed out and gone down into the Conference League and gone and won that competition.
I agree with you, but at the same time, you got to keep the dream alive, and I think we've got as much. When you look at the teams, we're going to
do Sevilla. We're going to beat.
I'm not going to get all over optimistic again, right? Because these games are over 2 legs, and when you're playing a good team over 2 legs, you usually get found out.
They've got massive injury problems, Sevilla.
No. What I'm saying is, hear me out.
Right? They drew 0-0
Sevilla.
They've got injury problems.
They drew tonight, Sevilla, with a team
second. They drew with Alaves.
They've got injury problems. We're going to do them. I'm telling you, we're going to beat them.
Well, listen, if we beat Sevilla, then we've got nobody else to fear in this competition, in my opinion.
We've got a few. There's a few.
No, I don't think there's anybody. I don't think there's anyone better than Sevilla in this competition.
No. The only way we're beating Sevilla is if they're decimated with injuries. Right? If we come up against a fully fledged fucking Barcelona, then we're gonna struggle.
Fuck Barcelona, Nick. Fuck Barcelona and Traore. Fuck them all. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Don't you worry about that. Well, look. In summary, to bring this item to a close, I think we're all agreed on this. It's just about greed.
It's a load of bollocks. It can't even happen. Gary, what that, because I've not read into this as much as you. Before you close it, is it done and is it agreed for 24-25? Is it done?
Well, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Because surely it's going to be appealed. It has to. You'd imagine Newcastle going to appeal the fuck out of that.
No, this is what UEFA seem to come out with these diktats. With these, they seem to do a kind of they seem to just decide what they're going to do, and inflict it on people. They decide the rules. I don't know, whether it's I don't know how UEFA is structured in terms of committees and votes and stuff like that, or whether the clubs and the leagues get a vote. I don't know.
Surely other clubs.
Great. Surely back down to earth again.
Surely other clubs, such as ourselves, can try to go above UEFA's head and go to FIFA and say to FIFA, look, you are the world governing body. You've got to put a stop to this. This is corruption.
Yeah, but FIFA are as corrupt, if not more, than as UEFA, right? They're probably getting a backhander out of it.
I don't know, but I'd certainly be fucking testing the water. I'd be going to FIFA and saying, listen, you can't allow this. Surely it's, the integrity of football is at stake here.
Yeah.
But do they care about integrity? You could argue that integrity is not their middle name because, let's be honest, they're letting the World Cup go ahead.
I understand. Believe me, I understand the cynicism towards FIFA.
Yeah, I know what you
mean. But I don't think they're a completely lost organization. I think there's surely some good people in FIFA who look at it and they're not comfortable with it either. There must be.
But are they able, Tommy?
When we win Europa League, we'll sing this song all night.
Are they able to make a unilateral decision and enforce that across every league in Europe, or do the leagues and the teams get a vote?
Well, no, FIFA are the ultimate governing body. They have a lot of.
Going to get a vote in a big team. I don't think they're going to give a fuck about anyone else, are they? They're not going to care.
Yeah, maybe.
Because didn't Nigel touched on a point, didn't he? Nigel touched on a point whereby he touched on my point. Yeah. Now, what he said was, do you know when UEFA, when the Super League thing kicked off, and then UEFA were fining clubs, and there were a couple of clubs that basically said, bollocks, you can't fine us. We're not going to pay it because yeah. So essentially, it probably is. It could have been posturing from these clubs so that they could effectively force UEFA into doing what it was that they wanted to do.
Well, UEFA are not very powerful. I mean, they took one of the Super League clubs to court. I think Juventus. They took them to court and lost.
Yeah,
I mean, they're a bit too bob. Anyway, look, that's got the juices flowing a little bit, and it's irritating as hell. I just hate this where football's going because, to my mind, this is just a bunch of relatively rich private companies who are trying to satisfy their shareholders and generate ever year on year increased revenues year on year, which is what every good company likes to do under the direction of good owners and everything else. But this is not they're always going to be looking for the next leap, right? So to me, this is just the first step, and there's going to be more steps after this, and it won't stop. They'll always be looking for a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
In all fairness, right? I don't think it really affects us because we had a chance of coming top four last year. That's as close as we're ever going to fucking get, right? It really is. We're never going to get back there again. So I don't mean,
it's not about us, it's about the bigger picture.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's corrupt.
I hate where football's gone. I just hate where football's gone in general. And that fucker Abramovich started all the damage. He started it all, But there you go. We'll come to him later.
Go on, him. Okay.
Right. So let's move on to the final story. Story number 3. So it's a big one. Following our sad exit at the hands of Southampton, we're now out of 2 domestic cup competitions with an horrendous draw against Sevilla in the Europa League. Things are not looking great. Should we lose over 2 legs to Sevilla, our season could be pretty much over by March the 21st, which would be sad. For a season that promised so much, we'd be back to focusing on where we can finish in the league, trying perhaps to scrape 7th or 8th place. Still, objectively, it's a very good season, but many of us would think that we could have at least given ourselves a better chance for success with some activity in the transfer window in January. A lot of people are not very happy with this, but neither, it seems, is David Moyes. And he seems to have got the message. He probably had the message already, but either way, he seems to have got it. He said in an interview this week, this is a quote, "I'm not burying my head in the sand. I'm not overthinking the next game or even where we finish. But I want to talk about the future of West Ham and what we do. Any team can have one good year, but I want to make sure that West Ham have continued success. And in order to do that, I might need to break the team. I look forward to speaking with the owners and finding out what they want to do and where they want to go with the team." Now it opens a massive can of worms. And to me, it's a welcome statement. because he sees what I see, because it shows he's as frustrated as I am by the lack of options and everything else. And also, it must be said, and I must point this out, we've progressed to this level much quicker than even he expected, and he said that. So, Nick, is this just words to motivate or scare the players, or is it a statement of intent? And what does breaking up the team actually look like?
Okay, right. I will say what I think that this this latest fucking gem that he's dropped is all about. David Moyes is trying to basically distract from the fact that he fucked up massively in January, right? And he's basically trying to say it's not about this season, it's about the bigger picture. Don't worry about this season. He knows he's fucked up. He knows he has. He knows the spotlight is on him. And now he's saying, because probably he's trying to secure fucking contracts of other players that probably don't want to sign contracts that we know. And he's saying, I'm going to have to break the fucking team up. He ain't going to have to break the team up. The team is going to be broken up. He's already put himself in a situation where we're going to have the smallest fucking squad in West Ham history, I think, in terms of senior players in the summer. We're going to have about 15 senior players left. All right? That's already a situation that we're in. And David Moyes is coming out and he's saying stuff like this. I mean, I'm going to talk to the board. Did he not speak to him before January when he had money? Is he not spoken to him already? Does he not know what he needs? So no, I don't buy into that shit. It's just more bollocks. We've seen it when he came out before, when he came out with that, well, after the January transfer window, he sunk to new depths with that stupid fucking press conference that he gave, where he put the interview out. So no, I don't buy into it. I don't think there's anything into it at all. David Moyes has never rebuilt anything. When he came into Everton, he done a good job, but he does a gradual build. He's talking what he's going to have to do at West Ham, because let's get it straight. And I'm going to say this now. If Declan Rice goes, take Declan Rice, pick him up, put him out of our team at the moment, we're relegation fodder. I'm telling you now, we're a bottom half team. Look at that team at the moment. Now, we're probably going to lose him anyway. That's going to happen. I think it is. So what he's doing is he's mentally preparing us all. He is. And the other thing that he's doing is he's trying to detract. He's trying to say, oh, don't worry about this season. It's fine. I'm looking at the bigger picture. It's a slow building job. A fucking slow building job. How slow do you want to be? Look at Southampton. We're never, ever going to get a squad. This geezer, he's not going to go out and get a load of players in the summer. And then next summer, we're going to, if we do have any good players next summer, they're going to grow frustrated. They're going to get bored. They're going to go, well, we're not going anywhere here. They're going to want to go. It's going to be a never-ending process. You can't stand still at a football club. You can't. He had a golden opportunity. And I know it's boring. To keep on going over the same shit. But that January, you said it, John. We all said it. This January just gone was massive for West Ham. You've got Newcastle that are going to be making strides next year. You've got Aston Villa. It ain't going to be like a great feat to get in the top 6 next year. It's going to be a great feat to get in the top fucking 8. So no, I don't buy what he's saying. I really don't. He's full of shit when he comes out in his press conferences now, as far as I'm concerned. I think he is. And I ain't Moyes out. I wanted Moyes to make signings. And that is my caveat, people. I wanted Moyes to make signings, and I really wanted him to succeed, because I think that Moyes is a good manager. But he can't recruit. He's assumed full control of this football club. Part of that fucking contract that he signed, it's already been clarified, was that he had full control of transfers. And this window just gone and everyone blames the board. And I'm not a board fan by a long way. Do you know this was the first fucking window we've ever not signed a player in Golden Sullivan's fucking era? We've never not signed a player. There's always been someone that's come in. Mm. And he comes out and he says that, I'm going to have to go and talk to the board. No, I'm sorry. So for me, that's my answer. Bollocks. Shut up. Sign some fucking players and push us on, you twat, as far as I'm concerned. I am not Moyes out. I just want him to do his fucking job. And his job is, he's done really well up to this point, but he can't just fucking slam the brakes on and go, well, we've overachieved. I'm going to have to wind it back fucking 5 steps to take you forward again. You can't do that.
Is he still talking?
Yeah. Everyone's.
Anyway, look, I heard some of that. And let me just clarify one thing. It ain't only the David Moyes and Gold era at West Ham that they've never signed a player in the transfer window. It is ever including their time at.
And this is the first time he's had full control.
Yeah,
but no, you've got to sign, and he came out again. You've got to sign the right player. He's got to have the right personality. He's got to fit in. We've just faced a team that had fucking twice as many players as us, and they have to rebuild every window.
I found that so irritating watching all those good players come on from the bench the other night. I found it so irritating.
You've got to get the right thing. You've got to get it right. You've got to get the right player in. Well, David Moyes, you've got to go out and buy half a fucking squad in the summer, mate.
Yeah. No, what do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, I have to agree. Just utter bollocks. Just utter bollocks. He had money to spend in January. We knew the areas where we badly needed players, and he didn't sign a single one. And now he's coming out talking about rebuilding. We don't need a rebuild. We have some very good players. We need to add quality to the squad. And you had a great opportunity to do that in January and to really push us on in the second half of the season and maybe do something amazing, potentially. Yeah. And he shit the bed. And it's as simple as that. And, you know, one of the things that frustrates me with Moyes is he's so hung up on this notion, and he said this publicly, that he only wants a player if they're going to come in and immediately improve the first 11. Have you looked at the fucking bench?
Have you looked at Vlasic, who he brought in last summer?
I don't buy that shit, right? Because
what a pile of bollocks! This notion that I couldn't find my £30 million striker, therefore we're not buying any strikers.
Yeah,
it's like fuck off. Buy someone that will sit on the bench at the very least.
Exactly.
That will be on the bench. That is a very viable option off the bench who can do a job. You can improve the squad in the meantime.
Yeah.
Then in the summer, you can go get whatever, if you have some marquee striker that you can't get until the summer. But go get somebody. Because Antonio's going to break down or his horrible form will continue. And we're having to watch Antonio flog himself to death game after game after game. When he's not in form, he looks knackered. And we have to keep playing him for 90 minutes, game after game after game. Because Moyes doesn't have the fucking common sense to go out and find a striker, which he could have found. Don't tell me, with Daniel Krasinski as our second largest shareholder, who owns Sparta Prague, don't tell me we could not have gotten a sweet deal for Adam Vlasic in January.
I agree. Yeah.
Don't tell me we couldn't have got a loan to buy for Vlasic in January with ease.
Of course,
it could have been done, no problem. And now we've got Adam Vlasic, who's breathing down Antonio's neck.
But mate, the whole problem is, and we've said it before, we had this conversation at the weekend, and it is that, right, David Moyes has done amazingly well up to this point. He has. But the fact of the matter is, David's, right, in no other organisation would this happen. Right? You employ, if you run something, which David Moyes does, you employ good people and you delegate and you get them to do certain jobs. David Moyes does everything. He does everything. I think that's the reason we only have one fucking plan on a match day, because it's the David Moyes plan. I don't reckon he has like a number two that feeds into him. I guarantee you Pep Guardiola's got a number two that probably gives him half of his tactics. He listens to him because he's bright. Yeah. And he's got someone who probably goes out, watches the away team and says, right, we'll do this. If this happens, we'll do that. But David Moyes, it's the David Moyes tactics. He's just got all these little minions that fucking do the job for him. Go and put the cones out. And the fact of the matter is, and it's the same, he's got Rob Newman in, and they've given him, and it's bollocks, because they've given him this head of recruitment tag. And he's getting the blame for this, because head of recruitment isn't director of football. He's a glorified scout. He's going out, he's finding players and identifying players, coming back to David Moyes, and then David Moyes is the bottleneck. He's the one who's saying, well, no, that's why our transfer activity waited until the last week of that window, because it had to wait until David Moyes finished his day job when the international break happened, so he could jump on a plane and start jetting around fucking Europe talking to players, because he won't trust no one else to do it.
To that point, Garino in the chat has just come up with a very salient point there, and that is we've gone backwards since his number two left, and I think we have, because
who's his number two?
Irvin.
Yeah.
He trusted Irvin. Irvin took over the running of the team while he had COVID and stuff like that. He did really well. He was unbeaten. He clearly, to me, I think he doesn't trust people. I mean, even his son, who's on the scouting team, he clearly don't even trust him. If his son says to him, Dad, I found a really good player, Dad. He's brilliant. Look at these stats. Look at the videos. Look at everything else, right? David Moyes will be going, I'm sorry, son. I've got to get on a plane and go and watch him myself. Right?
Exactly that.
That's what I'll say. He
can
does
you
not
imagine,
delegate. He micromanages.
And he's talking about breaking up the team. Can you imagine how long it would take him to fucking rebuild a team?
20 years.
You've got no chance. Well, look, Hassan Hootel. Look at the poor Southampton managers that have their best players almost on an annual basis ripped out from underneath them and have to go out and have to get new players in. All David Moyes has got to do is add to what he's got. That's all he's got to do.
Look at Southampton. You use Southampton as an example. They lost Danny Ings, their main man up front, who was brilliant for them.
Again, last fucking summer as well. With them.
Like that, Broja, boom, in, done.
But he does it. It's all him, and in no other organisation. You mean look. It's a big operation that he's got there. Running a football team is a big operation. It must be massive.
Do you know what it seems to me? Sorry, Nick. Do you know what it seems to me? That other clubs seem to be able to do, and I'd put Villa in this bracket as well. Is that it's like they know here are the players we're likely to lose at any time.
Yeah.
Right? So they've got a list. I don't know how long. Maybe it's 3 players. Maybe it's 4 players. Maybe it's 5 players.
It's longer than Moyes' list, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Who they've already looked at and scouted, and they know, okay, so for example, if we lose Danny Ings, here are the 3 or 4 strikers that we really like and prioritize them. This is our number 1 target, number 2, number 3, number 4. So they already know who is going to replace certain players in their team that they know it's only a matter of time that they lose, right? Danny Ings would have been in that bracket. They say, look, we could lose Ings. He's scoring a lot of goals. Yeah. Somebody could come in and take him off us. And he's going to want to go. Yeah. And so here are the players. So when other teams, they lose these players. And I'll put Leicester in this bracket as well. Leicester are very well run when it comes to recruitment.
Don't worry, James. You'll have it back next year.
So we don't seem to have any idea whatsoever of what players we actually want. You know, it's like we can go and get this player or this player or this player to replace if we lose this player or if we have a bad injury and we need to go out and grab someone in general. We seem to be clueless.
What the hell are we doing?
Go on, sorry.
What the hell were we doing, for instance, right? It came down to, like last summer, it got to the last week. We waited all summer, no activity. And in the final week, we signed Zuma and Vlasic and everyone. So he left it till the last minute. He did the same in the previous window. And in this window, he left it till the last weekend until the game stopped. And then he floated off around Europe to see certain players. And at the same time, we saw a bid's gone in for Phillips at Leeds. And we're thinking, we don't even need that fucking position. Why have we bid for Phillips? Rafinha. We don't need that position either. Why have we bid for Rafinha? They're good players.
But that means that David Moyes is part of that smokescreen, though. And then like I say, we'll get onto it later on. But then, I mean, that's just fucking torture, isn't it? I mean, you've had this Luis Diaz who's just gone to Liverpool, right? And he's hit the ground running. He's going to be the fucking next Salah, this geezer. He looks amazing. David Moyes come out and went, oh, yeah, we tried to sign him. Oh, yeah, thanks, Dave. Nice one. This is what you could have had.
We nearly signed him, Nick. We nearly signed him, and at the last minute, Liverpool came in and nicked him from us.
Yeah, I know, but why come out and even say it? Why, when you've just had a window like that, basically saying that you failed?
Yeah. Oh, dear. Anyway, look, going back to, before we carry on with this, I've got to have a dig at someone in the chat, right?
Why?
Where's Dan? Because he said my David Moyes impression sounded like Mr. T.
Dan who? Danny Morris.
Was that a pity the fool? Did you go?
And then he said, "I pity the fool."
The only thing,
guys, I'm up early in the morning. I've got a long drive tomorrow, so I'm going to shoot off. I'll let you guys finish up. But listen, thanks for having me on. It's been nice to have a good rant about the club. So I haven't been able to do it for a while.
Good. You're welcome back anytime, Tommy. You're welcome
good
back.
Good to have you on, Tommy.
Yeah, just let me know, and if I'm free to come on, I'll absolutely do it. Yeah.
Top man, top man. Cheers, Tommy.
Good
Cheers
to
for
see
that,
you.
boys.
See you
Look
later.
after yourselves.
Thanks, mate.
You know, mate. Good luck, Tom.
There we go.
The only
Good,
thing,
good.
look, let's play devil's advocate here, right? Because
Go on.
I'm a big fan of Moyes, as you all are, right? We did overachieve. It's not an excuse. We did overachieve very quickly, right? We did. And my argument is this: I agree we should have strengthened in January, but I truly don't believe that whoever we got in, we would have had to have bought some amazing players to persuade someone like Rice to stay in the summer if he's thinking of going. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think buying would have persuaded Rice to stay, but I do totally agree when with you and everyone else that we needed to strengthen, and we wasn't expecting £50 million players. I was just expecting someone to come in and just fresh legs.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you look at Southampton's team, they're not made up of that squad that they've got. That is not a collection of superstars. They're just good players, aren't they?
They are,
and they've just got some decent players.
And this is where, going back to what Tommy said, and I totally agree with this because this is my opinion as well. And that
is a great guest, by the way. Cheers,
he was a fantastic guest. He was really good to have on. I've watched him quite a few times on other streams before, and I was quite looking forward to getting him on tonight. So he lived up to my expectations.
He ain't got the legs for a booze up. That's all.
Well, I just think that we've learned a lesson with Tommy. What we need to do is we need to get into the emotional shit early doors next time.
Yeah, I've got him going.
Yeah.
The thing, look, with want of not wanting to repeat ourselves, all those transfers that we got linked with on the last day, 50 million, 40 million. Every West Ham fan I knew, well, most West Ham fans that I knew went whatever, as if that's going to happen. It was just pointless. It was just pointless showboating with no intention of following through, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
No West Ham fan wanted £50 million players. We just wanted bang average players to come in and have a bit of freshness coming off the bench. That was it.
To me, this is just what Moyes did the other night where he said, oh, they had 5 subs to use. For a start, Tommy come up with a fucking great point there, saying, "What does that say to the other players?" Because they're just sitting there thinking, "What? Am I not a player then? I'm not an option." But that aside, I think that the level of player that you need, I think Moyes' statement about signing players is wrong, where he says, "I will not sign a player unless they are better than what I've got." No, that's the wrong attitude, Moyes. I will not sign a player unless they are at least as good as what I've got, right? That should be the attitude, right? So you're going to sign players. Don't tell me there's no one out there. There's no one out there on the market. No one out there on the market available as a striker who's as good as Antonio as a striker.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I know. It goes without saying, doesn't it?
Better than is another argument, but as good as is different, isn't it?
So did he genuinely... Like Nick hit on, did he genuinely think that Vlasic was going to come in and be better than what he had?
I don't think so. I think that was a panic signing.
I think it was.
You said it before,
Yeah.
I think he was running out of time at the end of the window, but why fucking leave it to the end of the window? Why always leave it to the end of the window? You shouldn't leave it to the end of the window.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the way he does it. He's done that for the last 3 windows now. He failed on the last one, but luckily in the previous 2 windows, he signed... the window before last, he signed the last winter window, he signed Soucek and Bowen in the last couple of days. I think he signed Bowen in the 2 days before the close of the window. Now, just because it's worked once, it doesn't mean it's going to work again, right? You don't keep using that tactic.
Do we need a boozed up idiot, Mike Brennan, who's pissed out of his nut, has just offered to come on? Should we get him on? Just to annoy us for a bit.
Is he pissed up?
He's pissed up. Let's get him on.
Go on, come on, Mike. Come on.
Go on, carry on talking for a minute. I'll send him.
Yeah, so I think it's all a load of old crap. I think he's gaslighting us, basically, John. I think with the that comment about the two comments, the thing that this news story is about, which is I might have to break it. That is, I think I agree with Nick on this, and I knew what Nick was going to say, actually, word for word.
No, you didn't.
No, I did. I thought it was a load of old BS, right?
Because I talk 100% facts.
I thought it was a load. I thought it was a load of old bullshit when I read it. I just thought that's just fucking nonsense, because a rebuild job, like Tommy said, a rebuild job for Moyes that could take fucking years, right?
But the only thing is this: that squad is breaking up because of contracts running out, right? And players being available on a free, going back to their club on loan when they've been on loan, or they're retiring for Noble's sake, right?
Yeah.
That's not breaking down. He's just telling us the obvious. So I'm not really sure what he's telling us, what we didn't already know. It's almost like he is preparing us for his struggles ahead, because we know the squad is breaking up, but not, you could say it's for his fault. I don't know if it's his fault or not. Contracts running down. We know Declan may leave, and we know all these other players are out of contract. So why is he just stating the obvious? That's the worrying thing for me. It's almost like he's saying, "Don't expect this next season."
Well,
yeah. I don't know why you're even saying it. Really,
that's another way to look at it, John. And that's another way to look at it, to say, talking about, we've peaked too soon. I didn't expect us to be this good, and it's very normal to have a good season every now and then. That's kind of setting expectations, as if to say, don't get used to this, right?
That's what he's doing. He's playing it down, and you can't fucking. What he don't realise is this is what he doesn't get, because even before Moyes came in and he did what he did and he saved us from relegation, right? West Ham will never be happy with mid-table.
No.
Right? We're never going to be happy with that. Just because he's survived it and he's pushed us on, he's not going to be able to level our expectations. We ain't going to be happy with it.
What, you're saying you're not going to be happy with mid-table next season? Or in general? What do you mean?
What, mid-table mediocrity? No.
No. I'm saying, are you saying you're not happy with that across the board or for next season? What are you saying?
No, look. Listen, look. If I believed, say for instance, and you're going to think I'm always out now. Say for instance, we had a bloke like Hasenhüttl, right? Or who's the bloke who manages Brighton? Chuck Norris, him. You got, but you got a manager like that. If they come out and say they're going to build players in and they're going to build from the back, then I would be thinking, yeah, okay, that's fine. I don't trust Moyes that we're building nothing. I think he's one of them. He's a fucking. He's on a bonus. He's on a bonus. What happens is it's in correlation, right? With how high up the table we get, with our little money he spends, he gets a big fat fucking.
Listen, I don't want to. On that point, and John, I don't want to invade your comments for you, but I want to put one comment up here, right? And that is this: Moyes is friends with the board. Now, over the last couple of weeks, and I've made this point twice, and I've been shot down twice, right? I honestly believe, and this is
he's one of them.
I'm not making this up. I honestly believe that Moyes is the dream of this board.
Yeah, he's a dream. Right? Of course he is.
Because he will the ambition of this board simply was to keep us in the Premier League and keep us on that gravy train.
Mike,
right?
Are you ready to come on, Mike?
Moyes will do more than keep us on the gravy train. He'll probably keep us halfway. Desmond.
Hello.
Hello.
There's that fucking dick who had me walking around Southampton the other night.
Sorry, for
those Nick, wasn't it?
For you watching, we went for a drink down at the Brewdog in Southampton, which is probably a 20-minute walk from the ground, right? And so we walked down there at the start of the game, and then afterwards, me, John, Freddie, and Ross, my son, we walked back to the Brewdog, and it took us 20 minutes to walk back because 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. That's the way it works, right? Yeah. Anyway, Nick turned up about fucking half hour later because Mike had taken him on the tour of Southampton down the canals and everything. He'd done about 30,000 steps. I was not impressed. Nick was sweating. He was palpitating when he came in, you know. And you were perspiring slightly. But yeah, look, going back to my point about Moyes, I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that he is the perfect manager. They will never ever get rid of him. He will spend no fucking money. I wouldn't surprise me if he's on a bonus for not spending money. Right?
All right, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you all the question because I've seen it on various Twitters and platforms and whatever you want to bloody call it. Do you think Moyes has taken us as far as he can take us?
No.
That's what people are saying. A lot of people have been saying that. Do you think
you want me to be honest? Do you want me to be honest?
Of course. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
100%. Because he hasn't done enough to retain Rice. Rice has been a massive reason why we've overachieved, like people keep on saying, and he's been a massive reason. And when Rice goes, like I say, without Rice, I'm saying you take Rice out that team now. If for this season we're relegation fodder, in my opinion, we are. Yeah. Simple as that. We are.
I'll tell you what. This might surprise you.
Definitely.
This might surprise you, right? But I'm going to actually agree with Nick. I don't think he could get. No, honestly, we finished. What did we finish? 5th last year?
Yeah,
Sixth. Do I think he could get us above 6th?
No.
But would you be expecting him to get us above 6?
Well, to improve, yeah.
Anymore, John.
Well, no, but what the very next season is stability in itself not progression to some degree.
Well, stability would be 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not.
Plus or minus a few positions, right? So say 6th, I'd give him to 8th, and then anything below 8th, I'd say would be downwards.
Yeah.
But
6th to 8th, I think would be the same, pretty much. You know, we're in a few positions.
But what squad would we have needed? What squad would we have needed? And what do we need to compete or even have any chance getting top 6 regularly? Really? Like, really, let's be realistic about it.
No, I'm not.
Like an Everton.
What you got to do is you've got to take advantage of situations, right? And I will say, actually, Stelios said on one of our chats yesterday that we had, and I completely agree with him, John, right? And that is that if we'd have retained Haller, even not replacing him, he would have managed to get us the 2 extra points that we needed to get in that top 4.
2 hours, 17 minutes. That's a record. 2 hours, 17 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm saying is,
and that is another thing that baffles me. To sell Haller for half of what we bought him for and then take this long to replace him is mind-boggling. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Listen, to me, the biggest worry at the minute, or not the worry, but the biggest concern, the thing that baffles me is the comments that Moyes makes. The things that he's saying really set me back a little bit because I'm a big fan of Moyes, right? And I know you are. He's given us 2 good seasons, right?
Yeah.
More than we expected him to give us.
I agree with that, yeah.
More than he expected to give us. But the problem is now, with the things he's coming out and saying, I'm starting to become a little bit sort of like, he is becoming indefensible for someone like me because he is almost hanging himself out to dry.
I don't think he can cope with the expectation. He couldn't at Man United. We're not Everton. We're not Everton. No, what I'm saying to you is we're not Everton fans. Okay, no. We're not. We're bastards as a fan base. We generally are.
I think we're very similar to Everton though as a club.
Very very similar to Everton as a club. Yeah, but I think they were far more accepting of David Moyes for far longer because he put them through the mill as well. They were so close so many times. If you listen, I watched an Everton fan channel, right? And there was this geezer who came out and he said, I love David Moyes. He said, but we were so close so many times to being a proper top 4 team, a proper this. All we needed was 1 or 2 players and he would not do it. He wouldn't recruit.
But then who was his chairman then? Ken Wright. Who was a friend of Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing I'd say about that, Nick, before Moyes went in at Everton, they had years of just about surviving relegation under Howard Kendall, Joe Royal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Mike, no. When David Moyes came in, they were struggling.
I'm not as old as you, Mike.
Yeah, but when David Moyes came in, they were struggling. You know,
Everton were massive in the 80s.
Yeah. Look, it's a good point from Paul. We have always been a struggling Premier team or worse. Moyes has changed that. Above top 6 comes at massive costs financially, and the players you need in your squad. I do agree with that. I've got to say, I'm not defending indefensible. You know,
right? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's move on because it's 2 hours and 19 minutes. John, are you ready? Are you ready for your bit?
Yeah, you've worn me down there because you've made me angry about Moyes and I
like listen. If you want to skip it, we can skip it. If you don't want to, we don't want. It's up to you.
No, let's do it. We need a bit. We need
to be lighten it up, John. Come on, lighten it up.
Try and make people laugh. If you don't like it, I don't give a monkeys.
Sorry, everyone.
That's all right.
And now we've reached that point in the show where Virgil of the Marshes takes the piss out of the footballing week. Well, mainly Spurs, but that's all we're interested in, isn't it? Coming to you guys.
Okay, welcome to Mock of the Week. Well, I'll try and make you laugh, even though we did get knocked out of the cup by Southampton in the week. First of all, I'd like to make note of notable celebrations. I'd like to wish you all a happy Pancake Day just for the other day.
Hey!
Happy
They are fucking tosses, isn't they? Look at that.
Here we have a fantastic picture. I'm sure you saw this in the Carabao Cup final. 11-year-old Bo Brown, who was pulled from the crowd by Alisson and Klopp to go up and lift the trophy, the Carabao Cup trophy for Liverpool and with the Liverpool players. The bonus for him is that at 11 years of age, he's already lifted one more trophy than this man. In fact, the last trophy that Harry Kane actually celebrated was when he was an Arsenal fan at the Emirates. The Premier League have decided, for all their show of strength, Tottenham do deserve a cup just for beating Man City this season. Yeah, now, that's in the FA Cup, there's been a few shocks this season. As we know, Middlesbrough beat Spurs. We should have just listened to The Simpsons, because as we know, The Simpsons are very good at predicting. Always look to Barton Homer for information. Friend of the show, Sean Webber, after the Tottenham result. He was living. Absolute.
You okay, hun?
I had to reply.
Did he respond?
Yep.
Did he respond?
No, he didn't respond. My hero, Craig Dawson, just sent a message to Harry Kane just to say, you're just a shit version of Antonio. He texts me back saying, Craig, it's not the time. Now, there's the goal. There's the goal that Tottenham conceded against Borough. It was a fantastic finish by the young Borough lad. There in the centre is Emerson Royal. Emerson Royal, who cost £28.5 million to defend like that against the Championship team. Emerson Royal, remember his name, because for £6.50, I think that Burger King meal could defend a lot better than Emerson Royal. Antonio Conte, after the game, he went into training the next day to have a look at his squad. I'll tell you what, when Tottenham lose, it's a lot easier. As we know, though, look, at the end of the day, we also suffered defeat in the FA Cup to Southampton. We was all there. And Ralph Hasselhoff there, bringing on Nathan Redmond off the bench. It makes a big difference when you've got quality players like that. As we know, last week there was another managerial departure, Bielsa, who basically, we all think he sits like that. That's how he walks. Everywhere he goes, he is just like that. He's always on a bucket. That's him at the airport waiting for the plane. He just can't do anything about it. And we will miss this guy. Well, I'm sure you know who this is. This is Andres Claugio, who spent 2 years, has spent 2 years translating and interpreting for Bielsa. And I'd just like to leave you with one of the images. You know, it's becoming ingrained in our memory for Bielsa. There they are. They're doing one of their post-match interviews. Bielsa. Breaking news, David Moyes finds out that John Moss is refereeing against Liverpool tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, he ain't. Is he really?
7-0.
7-0. Arsene Wenger's gone a bit quiet. I mean, Arsene Wenger's gone a bit quiet with the whole VAR thing. I mean, he's been involved with VAR and trying to change rules. He's gone a bit quiet since Putin's invaded. Do you know why? He's working for Ukrainian news. Arsene Wenger has decided to try and get involved in the peacekeeping between Ukraine and Russia. And as you can see there, he's doing a fine and almighty job. Now, as we know, Chelsea are in dire straits because Abramovich made to sell the club. Breaking news and some actually architect images of what Chelsea's new ground will look like, as they are looking to sell Stamford Bridge to regain some money so he can be off on his merry way. There's the architectural images of the new stadium. There he is, Thomas Tuchel, asking for the transfer budget for the summer.
But he will be at all. All them wages they've got to pay.
Yeah. Lastly, but not least, FA Cup draw. As you can notice on the right-hand side, 3 of the big 6, Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City, have amazingly avoided each other yet again
Again, John?
In a cup draw. But
you laughed before you go. You laughed at me and said that them balls weren't weighted. They are
weighted.
Yeah, but Nick, I didn't know who was in charge of the draws, did I? Until now.
Don't talk about weighted balls, Nick. It's very insensitive.
Very insensitive. Don't talk about my weighted balls at the minute. Right, that is Mock the Week. Now we're going to move on.
Hello there. I'm Sally, and I'm desperately disappointed to tell you that this is Cock of the Week.
You might think that the obvious choice is one of these two men, Abramovich, for his negotiations in the football world and ruining the Premier League and overinflating it, or whatever you want to call it. Chelsea fans love him, but we don't. He's bought 19 of 20 years of trophies. But I'm going to give it to this man who seems to appear in every goddamn effing photo known to man. It goes from Putin to Abramovich, but my Cock of the Week is going to be little old John.
Yeah, what way?
Again, John Terry had to get involved in the whole political debate on his Insta, on his Twitter, and he posted a picture of himself alongside Roman Abramovich without any concern for the humanitarian crisis that's happening just over the road from us, really, let's be honest, in Europe. Yeah. So it ain't Putin, it ain't Abramovich. The Cock of the Week is definitely John Terry. Over to you.
Well, 100%. Well done, John. Well done, John. Well done, John.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
That was fucking hilarious, John.
That was good. I enjoyed that. Okay, right. I'm going to do my best because I'm a little bit pissed now. So we're going to move on to the Liverpool preview.
Oh God, bring us up and down, innit?
I know. Here we go. Right. So John cheered you up. Now I'm going to impress you all. I think we are going to taste the pain as well. But we listen. We will see. We will see what happens. It's a funny old game.
Mike, you're on mute.
Eh?
Mike's on mute. Tell him.
Mike, you're on mute.
Mike's on mute.
Mike's frozen.
He's frozen. That's all right. He'll still be talking for about an hour, and he won't realise. You're fucking ignoring me, and I don't know why. Right. But let's get the horrible bit out of the way. All right. We do need to talk about who we are playing now. Since the last time we faced Liverpool, they've played 25 times. They've won 21. They've drawn 3, and they've lost 1. Now, is there form slide? Now, this slide shows you their most recent games. And look, they're most definitely hunting Man City down in the race for the title. So you've got to expect them to be. They're going to be bang up for this. They're on an 11-game winning streak across all competitions. They've scored 24. They've conceded 4, and in that time, they've also managed to keep 7 clean sheets as well. They've already they've got the League Cup in the bag. They're still in the FA Cup, Champions League, and they're playing for the Premier League as well. Everything's on the table for them this season. Moving on to the formation. We all know the way that Liverpool play. This is a typical example of a team that will set out to play a certain way, and they will play that way regardless because they're so fucking good at it. And this is what Liverpool do. So don't expect any surprises. They'll play a 4-3-3, an attacking 4-3-3. They've got 2 of the best attacking fullbacks in the league, in Trent and Robertson, and they provide a relentless stream of service for the attackers in that team. You know, Klopp, he was quoted as saying he calls it heavy metal football, doesn't he? And I do make him right, because of all the top teams, they do certainly play football the right way. I mean, none of this triangle bollocks that all these other teams do, like Man City and all that. Liverpool get the ball and they try and get it forward as quickly as humanly possible. And when they are in possession, the centre-backs play high. They compress the field of play as both centre backs, Van Dijk or whoever it is, Matip. They've got the pace to deal with most attackers, and when they're out of possession, they hunt in packs. They make it incredibly difficult for the opposition to build any sort of meaningful attacks. They're so good. They've got a very solid physical and creative midfield as well. They've got really good balance between sort of Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, and they've also got Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, and James Milner to back up their midfield as well. And then onto their attack, we know these people are. Well, we know two of them are Mane and Salah. You're going to be aware of, but they have a new addition. Fresh from the Portuguese league. Luis Diaz. He's mustard. He's hit the ground running. What a player! He's just going to be another star. He's going to be another one of them two. And yes, this is the player that David Moyes kindly told us all.
I don't agree with that. I think he's lying again.
Can I just say?
Cheers, mate.
Nick, can I just say the excuse after the game is going to be, like the substitutes thing the other night. He's going, the only one because they're Diaz. We should have had him.
I know. Yeah. Oh, look at what you could have had. Yeah. You fucking dick.
You sounded like Putin then, Gal.
I know. But that's the primary attackers. Look at what they've got. Look at what they've got a backup. Look.
But you're not telling us anything we don't already know. We know the might of them, don't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah, got Jota, Origi, Firmino, and I forgot to put on the slide. They've got Minamino as well. And apparently, this is the funniest bit. They want Jared Bowen. Do me a fucking favour. Where is Jared Bowen going to fit in amongst this lot?
On the bench.
Like me in the middle.
He'll fit in the middle, yeah. So yes, Liverpool, they are, as we all know, they're a good team. They're a great team. They've got great players. They're in great form. And the odds are that we are going to get absolutely fucking goosed.
Right.
But West Ham, hang on. West Ham. I did exactly the same preview. I did exactly the same preview before the home game where their form was just terrifying. And look how that turned out. And like I said, I've got a little video to play for you.
I'm going to play it again for luck, yeah?
I'm going to play it again for luck.
Before you do,
go on.
Before you do, right? There's a comment in the chat that says, "Now look at the picture."
I know what you're going to say. I've seen it as well.
Firmino's a hunchback. What is that? What is that behind Firmino?
What's that?
There's like an extra back behind Firmino.
That's somebody else's. That's just his lats. He's got a massive back.
No, behind.
What do you mean?
You see there?
It looks like a potato.
I don't know. It's not my fucking picture, is it?
Well, look, I tried.
I know. Right. Well, anyway, this is what I will say is we said exactly the same stuff. So I did a preview before we played them last time. It was just as terrifying. The stats were fucking awful. Mane and Salah were on fire, and we played them expecting to lose. And this was the review afterwards. So there you go. Just a short little clip. Hey! I know, bloody hell. Welcome back to Claret and Booze, and thank you for joining us for our match review on this fine evening. West Ham deservedly ran out 3-2 winners against Liverpool in an absolute thriller at the London Stadium. What an amazing performance. And that's wins now against Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Everton, and Spurs inside 5 weeks. And I am absolutely buzzing. What a time to be a Hammer. We're third in the table. We're level on points with City in second place. And we're 3 points behind league leaders Chelsea. Now, anyone that saw my statistical preview of this game on Friday probably felt like topping themselves by the time I'd finished. But the stats are the stats, and that just goes to show the size of the task that we had in our hands today. So because once we'd finished that, we all called a win. Well, I think you called a... Well, that was that anyway. So that was...
I'll tell you what, Nick.
Great memories.
I can't believe you were that happy. I forgot you was a happy person once.
How could you not be happy at that? I mean, do you know what I mean? It's fucking amazing. But anyway, so look, it goes back to the fact that we know what Liverpool are. We don't need to analyse them. We ain't got. We know what their threats are. As John said, there is no point analysing too much about them. It's all about us. It's about us. And you know what? Football isn't binary. It's not. There are no guarantees in football. You know, I think. I mean, if you have a look at their previous games, they only beat Burnley 1-0. You know, even Norwich, who are fucking, you know, they're shit 3-1. Yeah, fair enough. They did beat Leeds 6-0. That is a bit worrying. But I don't think that's going to happen to us. So, I mean, the question is, right? This is a really interesting question. I'm gonna give this to John. If you're David Moyes, you've got Sevilla in a few days, right? You've got players who are clearly tired. What do you do? Do you think to yourself, right? Are you gonna rest your players for this and save them for the Sevilla game, or are you gonna go full pelt again and go for this game? What are you gonna do, John?
I'm gonna rest certain players. I'm gonna rest important players. Declan Rice is different because Declan Rice is a machine and can play all the time. I believe. I think Soucek needs to be dropped. I think Antonio needs to be dropped. I think Bowen does as well because the last 2 or 3 games he's looked a little jaded, a little tired. Defensively, we don't really have choices. Really, let's be honest about it. But I think defence. I think someone in the chat said defence should be full strength as we can. I think that's important. And also, when you look at the other fixtures, City have got United. Yeah. City have got United. Yeah. City have got United on Sunday, so you could say City should win that, right? Yeah. Spurs are at home to Everton on Monday. Not an easy game. Everton fighting for their life, and Arsenal are away at Watford. Now we're laughing at Watford because you know they're fighting relegation, but Arsenal ain't flying. So if you're going to worry about us losing ground and other teams around us, then I don't think we should worry about that. We're not going to get fourth, right? Let's be realistic about it. Let's give the Seville game, let's give the fans and the players something to focus on. Let's try and, someone said the last week, let's try and shit us a draw or something in Seville on Thursday, and let's bring it back to our place with something to play for. The worst thing for me would be going over to Seville, coming back with the game or the tie done, 3-0, 4-0, out of the question. What's the second leg going to be about, really? They can put as many fireworks on as they want on the return leg. But if the tie's over, it's going to be hard to generate.
I completely agree. I think it's got to be almost damage limitation. Look, even if, like I say to you, you could do what Southampton did to us. You could rest your big players and bring them on with 30 minutes to go. Try and frustrate Liverpool. Try and suffocate them a little bit, and then bring your other players on. You can't. There is a way of doing that. Moyes has got to think outside the fucking box. He's got to.
Would you really care if we got beat? Would you really care if we got beat by Liverpool?
Listen, to get beat.
Would you really care if we got beat 3 or 4-0? Would you really care? I wouldn't care.
No,
genuinely, I wouldn't care.
Only from a work point of view.
Listen. What difference does it make if we get beat fucking 1-0 or 9-0? In all fairness, in the grand scheme of things. No. What I'm saying is that John. What difference does it make? And the difference is, look, we could go full strength against Liverpool. We went full strength against Southampton. It's going to take a bit of a miracle. Miracles are not impossible, by the way. We could still beat them, but we could go full strength and not beat Liverpool. And then the worst thing would be, because we're going to get run ragged. Whoever plays against Liverpool are going to get run ragged, so they're going to suffer after that game. And then we go to Seville and we lose that as well. So
this is what I'm saying.
I think John's right, 100%.
This is what I'm saying. So no disrespect, Claire, but Claire's saying no, we don't risk players for this. If we put out a shit team, I won't be happy. But we have to prioritise at this stage of the season. Because at the end of the day,
Moyes won't put out a shit team. He will not.
Mike's right. Mike, what was you going to say, Mike?
No, he won't put out a shit team, will he?
No, I agree.
You know that when you do the team predictor, you know 9 out of 10 players that are playing. To be fair,
yeah.
Let's be honest, and you know they're the same in Seville. Maybe swap Benrahma with Cornells or whatever, but that's it.
So you think he's just going to go all in every game till
of course he is. Of course he is, and then he's going to fucking bitch about it.
Here's Chris. Look, he's back from rebooting his servers.
Good to see you, Chris.
Repeat mine, please, Chris.
Chris wasn't just rebooting servers, right? He went to brass band practice tonight.
I see. Better.
He went to. Is that a metaphor?
No. He actually went to brass band practice. He plays one of those big brass instruments. I don't know what they're called.
So he's been
the triangle.
He's been playing with his organ all night, has he?
No, he plays in a Jamaican. What's that?
He's in a Jamaican reggae band. He plays a triangle and he just stands at the back and sings.
Hey!
Yeah, that's it.
One of my favourites.
Well done, that joke.
Yeah, that's it. Right. So anyway, let's move on to Let's go to Mike. Mike, what are your thoughts on our chances against Liverpool this weekend? And not just that, what would you do if you was David Moyes and you got Seville in a few days? What are your priorities? How do you think we're going to do? Try and think about it.
What would I do if I had a big squad? I'd dress players.
No.
You're West Ham.
Now what? I would be. I want to beat Liverpool only purely because of a work thing. That's it. I want to beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because I've got a twat at work who supports Liverpool and he is a cunt. I'm sorry. That's it.
It's all right. It's late. He can say it.
Mike's done the C word again. Mike's done the C word again.
It's
every time he comes on,
I'm going to get away with that one now.
He's all right. He's late. He's fine. He's fine. He's frozen again. Look.
That's what happens when you say the C-bomb.
But anyway, no. What is going to do? He's going to
He's on double speed.
Same 11.
That's fucking hell. Mike's on double speed.
That's scary. Well, anyway, go on, Gary. Gary, go on. What are your thoughts on this? What would you do? Same question to you before we move on to the lineup predictor.
Listen, I agree with John completely. I would. The priority now is my priority's always been cup. So we've only got one cup left. So my priority is next week and the week after cup. We ain't gonna fucking beat Liverpool tomorrow. You know, if we did, I'd be delighted, but it ain't gonna happen away to Liverpool. It just never happens. We always get turned over. The odds are we'll turn up. If we played our full team, we turn up, we put up a brave fight, and then we get turned over 2-0, right?
Yeah.
I would rather have fresh players, and I'm talking about the key players, like you mentioned earlier, like Antonio, right? Antonio. Where's she come from?
Have we been hacked?
Has Sean hacked us? I think that our best chance of success is in the Europa League. If we can get past Sevilla, we can get past anybody. If they're weakened, especially, that's brilliant. So we need to take massive advantage of it, especially in the first leg, right? So let's go out there. Let's rest those players that suffer from fatigue. So that is Antonio. Bowen needs a rest, right? So Antonio and Bowen, I would rest those two. Who else would I rest? I would definitely rest Souček. The guy looks tired, right?
He's got that facial injury now as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, so they're three players that I would rest.
Bowen's playing whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Cup. I'm with Chris.
What? Cup all day long.
I agree with it. I am. Yeah,
I agree. Cup. I'd love to win a cup.
Yeah, of course we all would.
Right, so look, we get this is our lineup predictor. We're doing it the same format as what we did last time against Newcastle.
Claire's got a very good point. I've got to say.
Go on.
The whole team are struggling with fatigue.
No, she's right. She's bang on.
Fans are suffering with fatigue as well, Claire.
I am. I'm suffering with fatigue. Right, so look, obviously, I'm going to stick Fabianski in. He's going in.
Is this just quickly? This is what we want, or what we think he'll do?
No, this is what. Look, I don't know what he's going to do because I don't.
This is what we want. Okay, this is what we want.
If he dares to go, he can't go 3 at the back against Liverpool with the way that he's been playing with only 4 nails left. We'll get fucking slaughtered.
Listen. I want to vote on this, right? I want to vote on this, and we're going to go with a majority decision. Fabianski, would he have saved that first goal the other night? And my vote is Yes, he would.
He would have been in a better position. He would have been in a better
No
position.
way.
He would have been in a better position.
So, do you think he would have saved it?
Yeah.
No.
He would have been in a better position.
Two. That's 2 votes. Yes.
No, but hang on a minute. But most of the season, Gal, you and Nick have been saying Areola should be ahead of Fabianski.
Yeah, because Nick's deluded and he was going for the French triangle, which we saw against
No,
Kidderminster.
John, I have, and I'll admit that. But from what I've seen of Areola, he's not been what. No, Fabianski's better. Fabianski's better, in my opinion.
He's more experienced. He's just comes with experience. Yeah. I couldn't believe how old Areola is. I can't believe Areola's that age. Bloody hell.
I know.
How old is he?
29, isn't he? 29.
Oh, God, that's old, isn't it? Jesus.
He's almost as old as Fabianski.
How old are you, Mike?
Yeah.
Mike's almost my age.
Nice enough.
Let's don't say your age.
Right, look. Right, come on. So what are we doing in terms of shape? Are we playing 3 at the back or 4 at the back?
I didn't believe it.
You've got to go 4 at the back against M3, personally.
Yeah, I think so.
No. Well, it ain't going to happen. Are we predicting the team or what we want?
No. Look, yeah, but the thing is, Gary,
let's do what we would do.
We can't possibly predict what Moyes is going to do because it didn't work in that last one. So I think we're going to have to use our own logic. I think.
Let's predict what we think he should play. Right. So Fabianski in goal. Go on. I think we should go 4 at the back in this one. Yeah.
4 at the back. So is Cresswell going to be available in this? Do we know?
Yes.
He is.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank fuck for that.
If he's not, then you know Moyes is saving him for Sevilla.
He's got to be available. Okay, that's fine. So you got Zuma.
Zoo.
And we're going to go Johnson right back, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what you got to bear in mind is you got these two that they bomb up and they bomb on and they overlap all the time. So what are we doing in the middle here? Are we going to go with a standard formation or are we going to go with a 4-3? Are we going to match them up? We're going to go 3 in the middle.
I don't think Souček's playing. I don't think
Souček will play with that injury as well.
So we're going to go Rice in the middle, yeah?
Rice and Noble.
Is Noble available?
I don't know. He might be. If he is, I think we'll throw him in.
I don't think so. I think it'll be Rice and Lanzini.
Really?
Yeah, Lanzini plays a deep role, doesn't he? So
yeah, true.
You know, the other night when Ben Rama came on, Lanzini dropped back, didn't he?
And also, we know Fornals can play that role as well. So Fornals is essential midfield. Look at the job he's been doing in a fucking in a left wing back role. Imagine if you played him in his strongest position. You know, this is just quickly. This is an interesting point from the other night. You know, when we had Dawson on the right hand side of the 3. Yeah, I think Dawson is better in the middle of the 3 because he's old school and he gets caught out less. I was a bit, but I agree with that. Yeah. If we did go 3 at the back, you can see Zuma's more mobile, isn't he, than Dawson? Let's be honest. But anyway, that's changing the subject. Sorry. I think it's almost the easier job in the middle, isn't it? Don't you? I think that's why Dawson should be there because he's an old school. The wind in the air. Yeah,
I agree with that as well.
Before we go on, right, Mikey's getting some fucking proper good responses here. You need to give us your guesses on Mike's age in the chat. Yeah, we'll do it at the end. Mike, you're gonna love these.
Just remember, Mike had a very easy paper round. Just so you know.
Right. Okay. So what we do with this front? If we're going to match up, I mean, the thing is, would we go with 4? Would we go over number 10? So we've almost basically got like a midfield 4. Yeah. Or would you?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, who I would play, I wouldn't play Benny in this. I'd play Vlasic because he's got the defensive.
I was going to say, put Vlasic in there.
Yeah.
Put him in.
So you stick him in the middle. So you almost play a midfield 4.
We'll stick him in.
No,
3
plus 1, right?
No. Look. At the end of the day, this is Dammy's limitation. So I think we're going to be setting out to make their lives difficult, personally. And what they will do anyway, they will push up. There will be space. So who do we play up front in this instance?
Well, look, I don't think.
I'd like to see the Okaflex in, but he won't be. Probably Bowen.
Bowen's going to play.
But I think this could be quite different. I think this could be quite different. I don't think Bowen or Antonio should be playing.
No, I don't. I don't think they should, but I think they will. One of them at least. One of them.
They play Bowen because Klopp has been going on about him all week.
If I had my choice in this game, right, I know it sounds naive, and it probably is. I would play Vlasic and Okoflex up front in a front two.
Yeah, but he's never going to do it. He's already come out. Moyes has already come out and said he doesn't. But
my logic around this is fucking Antonio and Bowen are not going to do anything either, right? So you might as well put the two youngsters out. Well, yeah, they are two youngsters.
You just said earlier on, you said that the whole bench has just been fucked off by saying, I've got nothing on the bench.
Yeah, they have.
So he's not going to play the kids, is he?
Yeah.
He's not.
I think they have. That was Tommy who reminded us that that's probably the case. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But it's not going to happen, is it?
But this would be my preferred system because you need an outlet. So I think Rice can hold the middle. No, I think
you're playing Bowen and Antonio again.
No. Yeah, but he's going to play Bowen and Antonio, Gary. He's going.
Yeah, but I thought we were picking what we wanted to see rather than.
No. But you've got to use your common sense. He's going to pick Bowen and Antonio.
Yeah.
He is. And what I would do is, you need creative. You need that number 10. I would play Lanzini further forward. Personally, that would be mine because I still think
Klopp also said that Ben Rama was quality. To be fair,
this what Garino has said here, right? This thing here, this kind of thing I love. This kind of thing I love because Liverpool won't have a fucking clue what's coming at them. Now it might be completely ineffective, but Liverpool won't be able to do their background work on Vlasic, Okoflex, and Ben Rama, right? They're three players who can play together in training and be a completely different proposition that Liverpool haven't prepared for.
Gary, can I just say something?
Go on.
Van Dijk, do you really think he's going to be bothered about Okoflex? I'm just saying.
Listen, Ben Rama's just going to be dribbling around Van Dijk. Don't worry about that.
They're a bit different. This team is a bit different. I will say. I think if you put the kids out in a game like this, they're going to be like lambs to the slaughter.
No, not mass kids, Nick, but one or two is fine.
You Allardyce in it.
Yeah, a little bit. This is one of them games where, look, if it's a really hard situation to be in. I don't feel sorry for him because he's put himself in this situation, and if anything, he probably should have rested players in the FA Cup. Because we fucking lost that anyway. So it just feels pointless now. We lost it anyway.
I sort of agree, but I don't see the harm in playing a player that none of the other Premier League knows about. Because you could put Okoflex in there, and it'd be a last-minute surprise. No one will know what he is or what he does. No one will know anything about Okoflex.
I'd love to see him, Gary. But
I reckon Bilic would have done something like that.
But honestly, Okoflex is not going to be. Listen, Okoflex against different opposition, but you're talking about going up against one of the probably the best teams.
Reece Oxford against Arsenal.
Yeah,
he did well in central midfield, but going honestly,
he had fucking Ozo in his pocket that day. That was it.
I know.
These things happen. These things happen.
Yeah.
Okay, Fletcher, come on. We could put him on.
I just think, listen, Mike, I'm all for playing youth players, but I just think it would be a very strange thing to do to play.
Oh, he won't do it.
In this game. It'd be a strange thing to do it in this game.
He won't. No.
I'm not Gary. I'm not disagreeing with you either. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do.
I'm just thinking, give them something to think about that they don't know about already. They know about every single one of our players. They've got documents on all of them, right? They've done their background work. So throw a fucking someone like Okoflex, who isn't even really a youth team player. He's a proven player from Celtic. And why does the guy never get a game? Why does he never get a game? He's tearing it up in the under-23s.
Even 10 minutes ago, needs 10 minutes to show us a little bit.
Yeah.
So look, are we happy with that lineup?
That's not even fair, though, is it? He needs 10 minutes to show us a little bit.
I'm not happy with that lineup because we've got Antonio and Bowen up front, but I think that's probably going to be what it is.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, I think if he does go, the worst thing that he could do would be to go the same formation that he did against the Saints, because I mean we'll get royally fucked in then.
You are completely wrong, because that Vlasic is going to be Souček.
Yeah. No. We were talking about Moyes said he don't know whether he's going to be playing because of his face.
I don't think he'll get the clearance because head injury.
But Vlasic's not going to play on the right of central midfield, is he?
Why not?
Well,
Gary, you're looking at this wrong. He's not a right winger. Look, Henderson is not a right winger. Fabinho isn't. Thiago. That's 3 central midfielders versus 3 central midfilders.
Yeah, I just think that it's another game. It's another position that Vlasic just don't want to play in. You know what I mean? I know he'll do his best because he does that, right? He always tries hard. Bless him. But it's another position that ain't going to really suit him.
Put him false 9.
That's where I would play him. Yeah.
I think I think Vlasic is the type of player. I think he'll do a job wherever you put him. That's what I've seen of him. He's not exceptional at the moment. Whether he'll become,
but when he gets really played in proper position, he will be.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
at number 10.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Vlasic to me appears like the type of player that will knuckle down and do a job wherever you put him. He'll try and do a job. So I don't know. None of us know. Guess Mike's age.
Right, well, let's go. Let's do that before we finish. We've got a formation now. Let's go through and guess Mike's age, right? Because Mike's got some fucking compliments here.
Let's go and find them. Ready? I'll find some of the ages that people have said he is. Right?
Yeah.
So we've got Claire. Claire reckons he's 47.
See, that's close to accurate. See,
Kieran Devaney in Australia says 42.
Fucking hell, Mike. You're on a winner here, Mike.
Mr. Mess says 42. Guess, look at this one. I think Paul fancies him. Look, Paul reckons he looks 35.
Oh, Mike, take your cap off and show him your ball patch.
42. He looks like my husband, someone said.
Whoa!
So basically, Mike, you look a lot. How old are you, Mike? Reveal to the world.
I am 50 this year.
50 this year. Trevor, YouTuber.
Thanks, Trev.
Thanks, Trev. Yeah.
Mike's only just a couple of years behind me, and I'm never going to ask that question about myself, right? Because that could be demoralising.
Exactly.
Could be demoralising.
Are we going to
Sorry, go on, Nick.
Are we going to bother with the Premier League predictor?
Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
No, let's finish. We're 2:58. Let's do 3 hours. Come on.
All
right.
Living lights.
Sure. What do you want to turn on?
Desmond, Mike,
come back.
Desmond.
Freshfielder said Terry Wogan's called. He wants his rug back.
Mike, he's accusing you of having a rug. I will confirm it's not a rug.
That's all my hair. That's all my own
hair.
My own hair.
Mike's age is the same as the number of substitutes Moyes has used this season.
Mike, have you got syrup?
Mike has not got a syrup. I can confirm that.
I've met him in person. It's definitely real.
Yeah.
Right, hang on.
The youngest pensioner ever.
Thanks, Chris.
Right, here we go. Share screen. Sorry, I'm very drunk now.
See you later, Garino. Have a good one, mate. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Garino.
Hello, mate. See you later, mate.
Cheers, pal.
Come on, stay with us till the 3 hours. We're just going to do the Premier League predictor, and we're out of here.
Right, okay, we're going to Gary. Leicester versus Leeds.
Ooh, shit game.
2-0.
No new manager. Right back there.
Nah, too early.
No?
Right, Mike. Newcastle versus Brighton and Hove Albion.
1-1.
Un, as they say in France.
Go on. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus the Nigels. Sorry, Nigel.
1-0 Wolves.
Right, Norwich versus Brentford. Gary.
Oh my God, this is a shit one, isn't it?
I'll go for Norwich.
1-1.
Oh, come on. You got to have a Desmond there.
Nah, I'll go 1-1. Fuck it.
Right, John. Burnley versus Chelsea.
Oh, dear. I'm going to say 1-0 Burnley. Vighorst to
Whoa! Burnley.
Okay.
Gary. Burnley could do that. They could do
beat
that.
Spurs. They're not a bad side.
I really
Burnley.
hope you're right with that one.
Right, Gary. Aston Villa versus Southampton.
1-2.
1-2.
I like Southampton. I think they're good.
And we'll give it to the guest. Right, Mike. And this is, you haven't got to be biased. Just tell us what you think the score is going to be.
We're watching you, Mike.
Versus West Ham.
We're watching you.
Desmond. 2-2.
All right, we'll accept that.
Right. John, Watford versus Arsenal.
1-0 Watford.
1-0 Watford, really?
Yeah. Watford are fighting for their lives. Arsenal are fucking inconsistent. Yeah, 1-0.
Okay. Gary, Man U versus Man City versus Man U.
2-0.
2-0.
Please don't.
But I'll do this one.
Hang on. No, give it to the guest. Give it to Mike. And Mike, you know the rules, right?
I can't predict them, but I hate Everton.
No.
Right.
Who do you hate more,
Everton,
Mike?
8.
No. Who do you hate more, Tottenham or Everton? Say it again, Mike. Go on. Say it again. Sorry.
He's gone. Right.
I hate Everton more than I hate Tottenham.
Right, you ain't having it then. Right, 8-0.
No.
There we go.
All right. Where are we going to be after the weekend, Nick?
5th.
Hey, 5th. Coming, you irons.
That'd do. Okay, brilliant. Well, there we are. Gary, over to you.
Yeah, 3 hours into the show. Thank you all for joining us.
I'm going to sleep tonight.
I hope you enjoyed it because it was a very, very, very long one tonight. Thanks to everyone who contributed to the chat. Lots of good chat in there tonight.
Stay in there.
If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon. Thanks for Tommy, who's now gone, to join us. He was a good guest, actually. I really liked Tommy.
Cheers, Tommy.
He was really good. And thanks, Mike, for jumping on. Desmond, thanks.
No problems. Sorry about the power cut.
We'll be back probably on Sunday at 7 for the hangover, where we'll review the Liverpool game. Then I think the Booze Up next week. It'll probably be live on Thursday because Nick and I are going. We're going to watch, strange this, but we're going to watch Wales against France in the rugby down in Cardiff.
So you've really let me down tonight, girl. You've let me down tonight, girl.
Not together, completely separate, separately. But we're going to watch, for some reason, we're going to watch Wales versus France separately in Cardiff. So we're going to be missing Friday and Saturday because the primary objective is to get very drunk. So it'll be available, recorded whenever you usually watch us. Until then, thank you for watching. See you soon, and come on, you irons.
Mike looks like he's in the
irons.